Thanks, sir.
Did you ever look and see any of the ones that I mocked you on?
No,
Okay.
I haven't gone back. I need to.
I'll mock him when a sound sinks. He'll clap and I'll make fucked up. He'll clap like it. Yeah.
Everybody wants to be a director. Alrighty.
It's not even the director's job.
You know what I mean.
Well, welcome back, everybody. This is a joint episode, for lack of better words.
I believe the kids call it a crossover these days.
Yeah, collaboration. I don't even know what you're going to call it. But yeah, so you got me from Warfighter Tobacco Podcast. And then we have Jas, who's also a host on the Freedom Friends podcast. And we're going to cover something that our listeners on both podcasts are well aware of.
Yeah.
We're going to cover our Memorial Day ride to Colorado Springs, Colorado.
And what a ride it was.
Oh, shit. Yeah. It was great. But we had Jas on here.
I think I was episode 2.
Yeah, like 100+ episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll give a quick intro on Jas.
Because we've gained quite a few subscribers.
We have, and
it's been
some people might not know. And once we start getting into some stuff, and if we decide to dabble in some cigars, you're going to realize that Jas is a little bit above average compared to your average smoker when it comes to the knowledge base with cigars.
Well, thanks, I think.
And that has to do with what he did in a past life. So I'll let you take it from there. And just a quick elevator pitch.
Essentially, I have for several years I worked in the cigar industry. Started as literally part-time as a tobacconist in a retail store. Worked in a couple of those, and really, I was very lucky that they were very full feature, very forward-leaning, larger humidors that were very, and the owners of those shops are still extremely well respected today. So Club Humidor, and then Emerson Cigars and stuff. Those were the retailers I worked in, and those guys they've been in the industry a very long time, and they're great stewards of our industry and all that kind of stuff. Worked for them, worked my way up to general manager, and then got on as a rep with La Flor Dominicana. And so I was a rep there, and then I moved up from there and became VP of sales and marketing for a couple of brands, and sat in the president's chair for another brand. And so, I over the years I've been
vertically integrated throughout the industry.
And I started in cigars when I was 16 or 17, kind of dabbling. All my friends were like smoking Marlboros, and I was started getting into cigars. I still remember my first one ever, which was a Montecristo Delacroix Tubo, when they did that limited edition art series in like 01?
Yeah.
02? I think that was my very first cigar. But so I've been a cigar smoker a very long time, and then in the industry for quite a while, and then I've been lucky enough to have been friends with Warfighter for pushing 7 years now, so 8 years, something like that. So arguably since the early days of Warfighter, now that you guys are
we were only a few years old at that point. I think we were just maybe 3, not even, 2016, 2019 is when we met.
Yeah, so it's been a minute, but I've been around cigars quite a bit at a lot of levels.
Yeah.
A lot of farm visits, a lot of factory visits, a lot of kind of I have seen how the back end of the sausage is made, and it only made me want to be around it more. It's I think it's one of the few industries, in my opinion, that you can, the more you peel it back, the more you love it.
Yeah.
It's just it is one of those things
sucks
to where
you in deeper. Yeah.
Unlike most food making, when you get closer to that shit, you're like, I don't like this anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to. Yeah.
Especially like the stuff that I like. Yeah, like you learn how some of the food that you like to eat.
It's like when everybody
made.
kept sending me, because like I didn't choose the Nug Life, but the Nug Life chose me. And then people like to send me videos on like how McDonald's chicken nuggets are made, and I'm like, I don't care.
I'm aware that it's not real.
This isn't food. Like I can ingest it, but it's not food.
I'm not eating this because I want to, make it to my 70s.
No. But yeah, so I've been around, and then obviously we do the other podcast together where cigars are a fixture. So yeah,
they really are. We smoked quite a few on that podcast over the years. But yeah, so we'll just jump right into it. Normally Memorial Day weekend, Jazz has a business as well, Battle Pub Games. It's here local in San Antonio. It is the largest game store in Texas, correct? Tabletop gaming.
Yes.
Yep.
I have not been told I have a challenger. That doesn't mean that I'm not aware of some
Right.
weird store out in the middle of fucking nowhere. But as far as I know, yes, I am the largest dedicated game store in Texas. I think there's one shop that technically has more square footage than I do, but they're not a game store. They're just like a kind of a nerd store. So they sell like
Funkos and shit.
Funkos and comics and like all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We are a dedicated game store.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, typically both of us, Warfighter and Battle Pub, we don't really do much on Memorial Day weekend. We use it to take time to remember, to tell the stories, reflect, all that kind of fun stuff. And so what was it? This past December?
I think it was December, yeah.
Out of the blue, Jazz calls. Like, hey man, what's going on? I'm on my way back from I think it was the youth hunt from the Womack Ranch. And I'm literally at a gas station. We had a bunch of people in the car. Mal's in there with me, or in the truck. And Jazz is like, hey, you want to do a boys trip Memorial Day ride? Like, yeah. Like, where are we going? Oh, I don't know yet. Okay.
Yeah,
let's do this.
That was the entire depth of the idea. Was just like, we should do a big tour ride. And I think the only other caveat that we had on it was like, and everybody we'll invite will be service members, like guys that wore the uniform at some point.
Yep.
And we're not going to make like a big like to do about it being this veteran ride or whatever. It's just going to be our friends and stuff that wore the uniform that also ride, and we're going to go do this thing over Memorial Day weekend and spend it with our other brothers and
yeah. And one of the guys that was on the ride, Steve, who's been riding since the motorcycle was created. Am I wrong? No.
So I know most of his motorcycle history, and it's pretty fucking wild. Like the only time he stopped, so he started riding, I think literally when he was like 12 or 13. And then he stopped, I think a couple years after his first kid was born.
Mm-hmm.
And that he got as long as there's one in the house,
right?
You can't ride. And apparently, I won't derail the story too much, but apparently, literally the last one, like that Sunday, like had packed her bags and like kissed him on the cheek and left to go to college.
And Monday morning,
dealership was closed Monday.
Tuesday. Yeah.
Tuesday, he had a buddy pick him up because they worked together. Went there and on his lunch break went right over to Harley and bought a bike and rode that bitch home. Like it was literally the day he could be back on a bike. He was back on a bike.
He told me the story of how he got his first bike, which was fucking gangster.
Yeah.
His parents were like, nope, you're not getting a motorcycle. But his next door neighbor was just like, I'll pretend to be your parents. And so took him to the dealership, signed it as his dad, and then he would let him park his bike in the neighbor's garage. So his parents would leave for work. He'd take his bike to school, come back,
awesome.
park. I was like, what a gangster.
Seriously. And he was on a, I think his first one was a Triumph.
Okay.
And so when you talk to him, he's like, oh, no, my first one was like foot clutch on the left, like the whole, like it was, or foot clutch on the right, rear brake was on the left foot and all this kind of stuff. So then when he made the jump to Harley,
everything switched.
Like everything was wrong, and now nothing's foot clutch.
That's what I said. He started riding when motorcycles.
Yeah, it was pretty long.
No, but Steve is also a prior military guy, but he's been riding forever. So he's well versed with route planning and organizing a ride based on the pack and all the rider abilities, and to make it fun, to make it an enjoyable ride instead of like, we're just gonna run I-40 for 1,000 miles. So he planned out the route, and he's like, hey, boys, what do you guys think about Colorado Springs as our destination? We'll ride here to there and then, come back a different route. And so as soon as he said that, I was just like, and all of us that were on the ride were cigar smokers. I was like, hey, do you guys mind if I schedule a little cut and light cigar event / bike night while we're there? Obviously, nobody's going to say no.
Yeah. It was...
So I reached out to 3Ds in Colorado Springs. And the boys up there were like, absolutely, let's do this. And I even told them, like, hey, you guys don't need a place in order. We're going to be there anyways. Let's just, work it. And no, they were like, yeah, screw that. And they stocked up and they were ready. And it was super nice. But yeah, so Steve planned the route, planned all the stops. And every stop that he planned, even though we didn't take full advantage of it, every stop within like 2 miles of the hotel
there was a lounge.
Was a cigar lounge. But by the time we rolled into the hotel and got dinner and everything, like...
Because how many miles were y'all doing roughly a day?
Yeah, so I think... So like you said, you kind of laid out the whole route. So it was here to Colorado Springs, and then Colorado Springs coming home a different way. So we dipped into New Mexico and came back. So I think at that point we can jump into kind of
so
the day by day, and that'll answer your question about roughly mileage.
Perfect.
So day one...
I'll have to think about it because I can't remember.
Yeah. Day one was definitely the...
It was a day.
On the route alone, it was the hardest ride day anyways, because I think day one was 540 miles.
Yep.
And it was here to Amarillo.
Through San Angelo.
Yeah. So it was state highways, 2-laners.
Yep.
Farm country, horse trailers. Like, even if everything had cooperated, that's a hard ride.
Yeah,
day.
it's
540
it's a
miles is a in a car. At the end of that, you're going like, I'm done. I don't want to be
in a car. It's a solid 8 hours from here to Amarillo.
Yeah,
right. On a bike, typically you're stopping every, let's say, 100 miles ish, just to make sure you're topped off in case there's not another fuel stop for a little bit longer. And that, if you're riding all day long, that gives you a chance to stand up, stretch your legs, take a piss, drink some water, whatever you need to do.
Yeah.
Because you're on a bike for fucking 8 hours.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like in a car where you can just like set your cruise and just do. Well, I mean, we kind of did a bunch of that on the bikes, but you can't just like reach back and get a snack.
But you also can't you can't really shift how you're sitting and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Like your hips are kind of locked in that position for whatever you're doing and stuff. And also, we're on very comfortable bikes. It's still
a long day.
Y'all also don't have AC.
Or heat.
Or heat.
Or you have,
you're just up to Mother Nature.
Or windshield wipers.
Or windshield wipers.
Yep.
And that brings up the first 450 miles of that 540-mile day. So that day started at 06. And we met Steve.
Yeah, we met here at a gas station just out on the outskirts of San Antonio.
That was kind of a central point for John to come down and me to come up, and then where Steve was. And it was on the head of where we were going to go out. And this had been the plan from the rip. That night, we get a call from Steve that goes, hey, based on what the radar's doing, we may not take the hill country route to go pick up our fourth. We may stay on the highway because as of right now, they already had like half the roads closed due to flooding.
The low water crossings already have water across the road.
And we
were like,
fucking it. So we get there. We're all in rain gear. And this is at the start of the day.
Okay, so Jazz, we got on the road on Thursday. When did you get your rain gear?
Oh, Wednesday.
You got yours Wednesday. I got mine on Saturday because I knew I had to work the rest of the week. Mm-hmm. And so I was like, you know what? I'm just going to spend the money. Hopefully, typically the way it works is you buy something like this and you get the good shit and you never have to use it. I pressed the button in my garage to open it up to pull the bike out Thursday morning. And as that garage raised up, I was just like, God damn it.
Yep.
And immediately put my rain gear on that I just bought.
Yeah. And it was the same thing. I got up and I was like, maybe we'll get lucky. Mm-mm. And I talked to John. I was like, I don't know, man. It might skirt us. We might miss it. We might get lucky. There was a chance.
Wednesday night, it was like, woo.
And it was the same thing. 5:30 in the morning, I opened my garage and went, well, we're going to see if it works. And all the rain gear went on. Rain gear went on the luggage. Like everything. Yep. And rode there. Now, like he said, typically a lot of times you'll be in that rain gear kind of stuff. And you'll go through the hassle of putting it all on. You'll ride in it.
Range for like 3 miles.
Yeah, and then
you're fine.
Now you're just in this trash bag. Just uncomfortable. Nope. For 450 miles without a break.
It didn't stop raining.
It just absolutely poured. To the point that I was in a waterproof suit, waterproof gloves, waterproof everything.
Yeah.
It took, I think it was 3 days after we got off the bikes
For your shit
from
to
that
dry,
rain for
yeah.
my gloves to finally dry out. And they were waterproof gloves.
Damn.
Well, they said they were.
I don't think, short of wearing those yellow rubber dish gloves,
We needed like a
I
dry
don't-
suit for scuba.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that
that was going
going
to keep us dry. And
that was going to be my next one. How well does rain gear work on a motorcycle doing?
I was actually impressed at the level of dry I was. Now, you're going to get some seepage, right? Like
Yeah.
around because you're riding with your hands up.
Exactly.
So like my forearms here were kind of wet, but that wasn't that it got through my suit.
It just
It
dripped
was
down
just there's
from the
that
gloves.
seam.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Yeah, thankfully, between the high collar and the helmet, I wasn't like it wasn't like going down my back or anything. But it was
my
400
hands and my feet. That was it.
Yeah, my hands and my feet. We should have gotten video of that, of me pressing down on my boot.
He had water squirting out
And
of
water
his
would
boot
squirt up
every
out of the
step he
toe of my
took.
boot. It was
Mine-
wet.
My boots started crazy dirty, and I didn't realize it. And then by the end of the rain, they were nice and clean, which it's subjective, but compared to what they were. Except it took all the dirt and all the shit that was on my boot and just transferred it to the probably bottom 12 to 18 inches of my pant leg. And so my pant legs were stained, and I'm pretty sure they still are,
Yeah, it was-
because who knows what was on
It's
it.
pretty brutal. I think so. There's some footage of riding in that that you got behind me, and if you know anything about cameras, rain is actually really hard to see, like on camera.
Yeah.
And there's no mistaking how
You
much
could
rain
see it
is
on
in
this.
that
It was,
image.
it was crazy.
Like you can't,
Like, we
from
didn't-
your perspective, you can't see the bottom of my bike. Like it looks like I'm floating across water.
Yep.
And then you can see Steve. But from my perspective on Steve, I only knew where he was because of his lights.
Right.
I could not see his motorcycle. Like it was just the
Yeah.
light pattern on the back.
Yep.
And then in front of Steve, y'all had like a big ass box truck, right?
So yeah, I think that's probably why.
Well, that was on one of the
why he kicked
videos, yeah.
camera on. But there was it was like a food truck trailer.
Yeah, it was just like a concessions type enclosed
So
trailer.
big box truck, but it was probably an 18 foot, 22 foot box trailer. But the spray coming off of that thing was, and then you'd see where like the water was building up and he'd hit, and you'd see these waves that would just come blasting out. And then he and I felt it because it felt like you were getting hit by rocks. The speed and the size of the water was. And about halfway on this shit show, we had a lightning strike that happened. Like,
It had to be like 200 feet to the side of us.
It hit.
was-
I mean, to the point where all the bikes rocked in one direction when the lightning strike hit. Like I saw Steve in front of me just go like
yeah,
he like shook it off because it hit so hard.
It's kind of one of those like, okay, we should
We're
find a
done.
spot for lunch.
Yeah,
now.
there was. So I don't even remember where we stopped.
Well, we were in between. I think we were like not even an hour north of Abilene, on our way to Amarillo, right? I think we were somewhere around there.
Yeah.
But either way, it is just there's nothing. It is just flat, right? And there's not even like a lot of trees. And so having us on motorcycles on a road in that, it was like
Yeah, we
Raining
were the
and-
target.
well, there's
Yeah,
not
like, it
much that's taller than
Well,
us right now.
I'm assuming it was very windy during the storm too, right?
Yes and no.
Okay.
It was one of those. So, it was a southwest Texas rain, right? So, it was a shit ton of water. And if you're from here, you know the kind of storm that I'm talking about. It's a shit ton of water, and it's just coming straight down. Like it doesn't have that side shear and stuff coming on. It's just that curtain.
Like we missed the outflow because it was already raining when we got on the road. So it's not like we rode into that nasty like 50,
That
60
headwind
mile an
that
hour
smacks
headwind
you.
to get into the storm. We just started in it, and we didn't leave the storm until we got almost all the way up to Amarillo.
So we weren't getting a lot of the like crosswinding and that shearing and stuff that can happen. And then thankfully the part of the wind that we did hit was actually coming at us.
Yeah.
Which if you're gonna deal with it,
I'll take that.
you want to be riding into it instead of the crosswind. But we stopped in this little town. We have some footage of that too. Had a good lunch and a great great cookie.
Oh yeah.
And they were free. Can't believe they were giving away the cookies for
I was
free.
like, I was like, can I buy these cookies? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, well, how much are they? They're like 3 for $1.
For these homemade cookies. And it was
I
like,
was like, how many do you have?
and she goes, no he did it as a joke. No hesitation. She just went like, I'll go check. And I was like, whoa, hold.
I was like, no. I was like, but you're trying to tell me I can get 30 cookies for $10?
Yeah. And she was well, and she goes, well, I don't know if I have 30 left, but sure. And I was like, because they just make them every morning. She'd give me an extra cookie though.
Nice.
It was really good.
We stopped in Bollinger,
Texas. So, and it was still pissing. And we've got the footage for that.
So
and,
we were just south of Abilene, excuse me.
So we went outside. They had this little corrugated steel like overhang on the side of the building. And we're all cold. So we're standing out there. They let us take the ceramic coffee mugs out there, and they just kept refilling them. And we just
probably went through like 5 pots of coffee.
We just stood out there and drank coffee and smoked cigars and just waited until
we just waited.
We just waited.
Was it, because there was no until.
Yeah.
It didn't stop raining.
It didn't stop raining. We finally got a window that happened where it was like, all right, it's not. There's like some visibility.
Yeah, on the radar, it's not red anymore. It's just yellow.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
And we're in a flash flood watch and a regular flood watch in that area, and everyone that we talked to was just like,
"You're insane."
Yeah, like we haven't had one of these flood watches here in like 10 years, and we're like, oh well, cool. We have hard deadlines we have to hit, so as soon as we get done with this cigar, we're getting back on the road. And they're like, I wouldn't do that, and we're like, we don't have a choice.
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotta do what you gotta do.
So got through that, and then the ride into Amarillo, thankfully, the rain was gone. The last like 90 miles.
And it was awesome because we got to strip off our rain gear. After we rode it long enough where it was dry-ish, dry enough to put up in a saddlebag. And by the time we got to Amarillo, my boots and gloves were like 40% dry. Jazz's weren't.
My boots weren't. Luckily, I was riding with multiple sets of gloves, so it was.
But yeah. So like Jazz was saying, his gloves didn't take 3 days to dry out.
They were so wet that first night when I tried to use the hairdryer to dry them out, I broke the hairdryer. I burnt that hairdryer out trying to dry my gloves.
Stopped working, and he's like, "Well."
Just showed up in the next room and was just like, I need your hairdryer.
No, quite literally the next night we got checked in and stuff, and I took all my standard gear up there and my wet ass gloves, and I was like, all right. Then I went back in the bathroom and just was sitting there fucking hair drying my gloves. And but that last 100 miles, yeah, it was a little chilly because we were on the back side of that storm, and it had already gone through there, so it had dropped the temp.
But it was sunny.
But the sun was out, and the best part of that day, though, was honestly the end of it. We got in. The hotel was super accommodating. They were like, leave your bikes under the cover out front.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome. It shared a parking lot with a restaurant, so we all dropped our gear. We're all hungry. We went over there, had quite possibly the most delicious Coors banquet I've ever had in my life. Because I felt like I had earned it.
Yeah.
And it was on draft, and they were like, it was a rhetorical question. He's like, do you guys want the tall boys or, and we were both like, yeah.
And then afterwards, when I went back, like he said, the wind had dried my boots out. My socks, however, and being able to go in the room and just change into dry socks was
game changer.
I mean, we're all military here. Just being able to do the sock swap was like
it puts another 24 hours on your life.
Let's get back on the bikes. Like I'm good to go. But then we went and we found a place to sit in the back and sat down with the boys and
smoked some cigars
and talked bikes and talked just kind of. Nothing heavy. It was just...
It was nice.
But it was just one of those really... No wind, super calm. Amarillo's a super quiet town, so it was just this... that was exactly what I wanted my Memorial Day weekend to start with. Was honestly, we kind of got to all struggle together and then got to have the rewards at the end of it. And I think there's something to be said for that, like voluntary suffering, just to kind of prove that you can still do it.
Well, I feel like if day one wasn't like that, I don't think, like, one of the guys, Ken, I met him literally at a gas station in Bernie. That was the first time I ever met Ken. And we rode through the shit on that Thursday. And that night, I feel like, you know, out of all the stops that we had and the conversations that we had while we had stops, and when we spent whatever it was, an hour, you know, break for lunch, you know, we didn't really talk that much. That night, it was like Ken and I knew each other forever.
Yeah.
You know, and it was just because we went through 8 hours of shit.
100%.
And it was because of all that and knowing that and stuff, Ken opened up and all that kind of stuff, because we were getting to, and then finding out like the common places that everybody's lived and remembering this and that. And it was just this.
Because all prior military. So it's all different bases. And, you were overseas here and there. And it was super cool.
I mean, Ken was Air Force, so
yeah, but he did a full career and he spent a time all over the place.
Well, I just meant the whole prior military thing.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, that's like the corporate side.
It's the civilian branch.
If he's here right now, he'd be fucking shit talking us.
He would. And that's what's actually great about Ken is it's Ken is actually, I think it was day 4, right before we were getting ready to that night when we were all smoking and stuff like that. And he was talking about the ride and that length of ride and stuff like that. And he was like, I'm glad I did it with you, and I'm glad we muscled it out and we did it. And he's like, but I don't have a lot of these left in for me. And he's like, I'm getting ready to turn 78 years old. Yeah. And at this point, we were 1,800 miles into this ride, and I was just like,
I can't complain about anything.
Yeah, I was
at
like,
all.
holy shit.
Like, not at all. I just have to smile and say, I'm ready for more. Because if he's not complaining, I can't say a word.
Yeah. And this wasn't like we were riding hard and he would catch up or whatever. He was right there with us, like took over road captain at one point. I mean, like he rode just as hard as the rest of us and was always the first one with the bike ready to go.
Yeah.
And like he was.
That first day I found out that my saddlebags were not waterproof. Ooh. And I don't know if it was I had too much shit in them and they didn't seal, or if the speakers that I had on it leaked. Pretty sure it was the speakers that leaked. But like Jas was, blowing up hair dryers trying to dry his gloves out. And if you looked around the room, all of my clothes were on the hangers hanging up to dry out. Because, I mean, they were like wringing out soaked.
Oh, honestly, the room looked like our saddlebags had exploded.
There's just shit like everywhere.
All of our rain gear, most people that ride, especially if you ride saddlebags and stuff, you have like towels and stuff, and because shit rains, and then you want to like wipe your saddle off and stuff. It was just like towels hung over stuff and gloves everywhere and rain gear and
boots
socks and everything. It was man, I slept like a fucking champ that night.
I got some really good sleep on that
trip. Whole trip I slept so well. But and then day 2, man, there was almost nothing to complain about on
day 2 hit different. And it hit different because we left Amarillo at 7:30, 8 in the morning. We got kickstands up. And we rode up through New Mexico, over Raton Pass, and then followed that into Pueblo and then into Colorado Springs. And so when we crossed into New Mexico, the whole goal, well, I wouldn't say the whole goal, but some goals that we had on the trip was every state sign we see, that when we cross state lines, we're going to pull over, we're going to take pictures by the sign. It also gives us a chance to stretch our legs for a second. But it'll be nice. And so we were bombing into New Mexico, and it's like, shoo, there goes the sign. And we're all like, oh, shit.
Now, in all fairness, apparently on that route into New Mexico from Texas, the state sign
it was this big.
It's about this big. Yeah. And it's like on a stick that just says
that was it. It's not like one of the big welcome to New Mexico,
and it just said,
home of the aliens or whatever
New
the fuck.
Mexico. And then
that was it. It was just like a green sign this big.
Gone. We rode through, but then we
stopped in Colorado. Oh, I take it back. Let's talk about when we stopped in Raton, New Mexico. Was that Raton? I think it was.
Yeah.
Right before the pass. And So we stopped there and we needed coffee. And it wasn't for any other reason besides that we needed caffeine. Like it was that point in the ride after getting beat up all day on day one that I was just like, oh no, we need to pay attention.
Even
to
with
ourselves.
the good night sleep and stuff, it was still just.
Yep.
Was this in what time of the day was it? Morning, evening?
This was.
Oh, it was still morning.
It was still
Yeah,
morning.
this was probably
at
10
10 a.m.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
10:30 in the morning. So we pull into a gas station we pull into a Denny's and we walk in there and we're trying to get coffee and we're like, holy fuck, you guys don't know how to do a coffee to go.
A Denny's. A
What?
Denny's.
Like,
And I don't mean like a Denny's that's attached to something. I mean a freestanding Denny's restaurant. And we pulled into the back and we lined the 4 bikes up and there was some people around. And so I was like, hey, why don't I'll stay here.
At first, we're like, these fucking vagrants.
Yeah. And I was like, I'll stay here. I'll call the wife and whatever. And I'll watch the bikes and you guys can go get coffee.
Steve and Ken go inside. I'm figuring out what Jazz wants for coffee. And so I walk into Denny's. And as I open the door, Steve and Ken are walking out. And I'm like, what? No coffee? And they're like, not at this place. I was like, what? And then like I look in and there's like 2 waitresses there, like the most confused look in their faces, period. And Steve's just like, they don't know how to do coffee to go. We're going to have to sit at a table and then they have to serve us. And I was like, what? And he's like, so we're going to go to the gas station next door. And I'm like, let's go.
That's
It
insane.
was crazy.
Well, it was super confusing for me because they went around the front of the building. And then all of a
Just
sudden I see
disappeared.
them coming back 2 parking lots over straight at me. And I was like,
On the back of the building.
and I was like, the fuck happened?
But we have
how
coffee.
how did you go in the Denny's and come out with no coffee?
Yo, they got a portal in this
But
Denny's.
he came
It's
over and he
sick.
had a large coffee with him. And I was like, I don't really care. But like, this is
Yeah.
fine. And so
I was like, you got French vanilla, by the way.
and so then it was us literally sitting in the back of a Denny's parking lot, drinking coffee and smoking cigars and talking. And
With what we thought were vagrants.
it turns out it was actually 2 more riders that were out.
With a chase car, their family was in the chase car, and this dude's probably got, I don't know, 60 grand worth of shit he put on his bike.
But yeah, once everything moved and I could see the rest of the bike, I was like, oh.
I was like, fuck. Like,
What kind of bike was it?
it was a bagger.
It was another Road Glide. And he had, I recognized every part he had
every
on it. And
part.
I was like, that's a $30,000 motorcycle with $30,000 worth of parts on it.
Man, I just judged the shit out of
Yeah.
these guys, and all
No,
I
in
had
all
to do was go
fairness,
talk to
you need
them.
to keep in mind when we pulled up, it was like this beat ass hatchback,
And the bikes,
like
they
a
were
s-
dirty, and we could only see the noses of them, so we couldn't see the
and
side.
it was like this
with all
beat
the
ass
parts
like
and shit.
Subaru hatchback with the back open,
And they're
and
like,
like a-
making food.
and then he's like back there like making food and fucking with something on like a folding chair and shit. And I was like,
Yeah,
I'm
and
going to stay with the bikes.
and we're,
Like,
and we're in New Mexico.
yeah.
So, I used my...
Well, we also saw the guy that was walking like he had a strong crosswind happening. Like he was,
That guy was a 100% Mexican American.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
So I am still very glad I stayed with the bikes.
Yeah.
This is the same parking lot that we saw a deer fight a dog in broad daylight. It was.
Yeah. And the deer won. That dog bitched out and ran off.
Yeah.
And then the deer went right back to eating, didn't get spooked, didn't run off, nothing.
Yeah.
New Mexico's a wild
And,
place.
and it was a doe. This wasn't like it was this big buck that was like fuck off. It was a doe that stood its ground, chased this dog off, and then went back to eating the grass in front of this trailer. And I was like, what?
And when you look around, it's not like, oh, it came from that field with the woodline behind it. Like, we're in the city.
Yeah, like it was something. So
That's
then that was a
awesome.
cigar break and more conversation and hanging out and
Yeah.
now getting to Raton, that drive would have sucked in a truck,
Oh, yeah.
but on the bike.
It was nice. It was pretty.
Being able to look around and all that kind of stuff, all that it reminded me of was the 70s and 80s. Marlboro would do those cowboy paintings to advertise of like the Forever Horizon with like the lone horse
The Marlboro Man.
and the Marlboro
Yep.
Man with the lone horse. And like sometimes it would have like the stormy sky and sometimes it was the sunset and stuff, like those big murals that would be in like pool halls and shit.
Northern New Mexico.
And and this was still in Texas. So like you'd look over. At one point I literally rode next to him and like pointed because the vista was this just flat land a couple of distant oil derricks, and some of the rock formations from New Mexico with the storm we had broken on the other side of those rocks. And it was just this view of that was just like, if I'd been in a...
It looks like that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It does. It does.
But it's also Jazz taking a pee on the side of the road.
Yeah. But it was one of those ones like...
Send that to me so I can insert it. Thank you.
In a car, I don't think I ever would have taken that in.
No.
I think I would have been on the phone with somebody or...
I've been to Amarillo. I've taken that all the way up through into Colorado Springs. It's just not the same. On a bike, it is so different.
And that was into Raton. And then once you get into Raton, now you're kind of in the Colorado foothills.
Yep.
And so we had to ride through what was called Raton Pass. And that was the first kind of... It was pretty breathtaking on the bike because you felt like you were in the landscape instead of just traveling through it. And
after all that rain, I don't know if it was the rain or if it just took 500 and 600 miles for me, my body, to adapt. But I could smell everything. Mm-hmm. I could smell the wildflowers in the fields. I could smell the different fucking horrible exhaust coming off every different vehicle in front of us.
You could tell what was being grown on some of that land, whether it was farmland or ranch land, because you'd travel through and all of a sudden it would go from like a grain smell to an animal smell. Mm-hmm. And you could tell...
Or you like start getting into the trees and you get that real pine evergreen, like, oh, it's so nice.
I think it also helps that we came through there after the storm had kind of cleaned the air. So we got everything kind of it. But after Raton and riding through that pass, and that was my first taste of riding in that kind of mountain view and stuff like that. And it was pretty breathtaking. So we were through Raton into Pueblo, dodged the rain long enough because we stopped in a Harley dealer and it rained while we were in the dealership. And then we got back out and it was dry again.
Yep. It was nice.
And then we rode into Colorado Springs.
We did.
And this is on day 2 still?
This is still day 2.
Yeah,
gotcha.
This is day 2. So let's talk about Pueblo Harley Davidson. I think I don't know if they have I know the one in Colorado Springs is called Pikes Peak Harley Davidson. I don't know if Pueblo is just called Pueblo or not.
No, it's called Fortress or something.
Oh, yeah. Let me just look. So,
met some really cool cats there.
We did that. And they also ended up coming up Outpost Harley Davidson. That's what it is. Right off I-25.
Dope dealership. Yeah. Smaller, but super dope.
Super cool.
Very performance bagger oriented.
Yeah, there's some really nice bikes in there.
But we met 2 cats in there that were super, super dope. Turns out one of them was the whole family was from Esteli.
Yeah, so one dude, his family does packaging in the cigar industry. They do cello and all the the clear plastics. And then the other guy we talked to his father went to high school with one of the owners of 3Ds in Pueblo. They call him Coach, and who's also his coach when he went to high school. So his father went to school with him, and then it was his coach when he went to high school.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Pueblo is a small town.
Fair.
Highlight of our experience in the dealership was a dude that walked in to buy parts.
Holy shit! So we're there. And I was looking at a very cool bike while I was there, chatting with this dude. And we see this dude walk in, and I see him.
It stopped me mid-sentence. Yeah. I couldn't finish my sentence. And watched the guy walk by.
I see him. John and I were in different parts of the dealership. So I saw him talking to this dude and just stopped and looked at him. And the dude just looks at me and goes, Pueblo. And I was like... What the fuck?
They didn't even react. The people that work there.
So John comes and finds me and he goes, he's at the parts counter. And I was like, what? He's like, you got to go see this dude at the parts counter. So I go around to get a deeper look at this guy and he's wearing 80% of a bathrobe.
It's a full bathrobe, but it has no tie and it's just wide open.
And there's also just missing chunks of it.
and he has slippers on.
Yeah, like puffy slippers. Not like, I mean like those puffy, like plushy slippers, shorts, no shirt.
Yep.
And it's like 60 degrees outside.
Yeah.
Walks
raining.
into the parts counter, gets whatever he's getting. The dude hands it to him,
big
and it's a
fuck
big
off
fuck
box.
off box. Throws it over his shoulder and walks out. And I walked by and I looked at the parts counter guy, and he was like, "There's a first for everything." And I was like, "Holy shit!" And the dude just went right back to work. And I was just like,
I was just so blown away by the lack of reaction by all the people that work there. Where Jazz and I were like, "So you guys are seeing this too, right?"
It's like you just walked into Area 51.
Oh my god!
And all the scientists were like, "Yeah, just another Tuesday." You guys were like,
it was
no. What is that?
God,
Yeah.
that's a fucking alien. Yeah, like, oh, that's cool.
The dude walked in. What made the outfit was the aviators.
I thought it was the slippers, but I could see that too.
It was the aviator because you had the rest of that in these aviators that he never took off.
I was about to say, there's
Like,
no
just
way he
walked-
took him off.
Left
inside.
him on the whole time.
Yeah.
I walked in there.
That gave him
threw
the
that thing-
confidence to walk in the outfit he was wearing.
Threw that thing over his shoulder and left out of a different door. Like he did like a. I was like, I don't know what the fuck just happened, but
That was
so we chatted with those cats. I think we talked about cigars more with those guys than we did bikes.
We did.
We looked at some really cool ones.
We did. They had a who was that? That manufacturer with the white with the blood soaked.
Is that Savage Tuning?
It's something 6.
I can't remember what it is, but we'll try and find it so we can put a picture up of it.
I
Because
got
I've seen the bike
Yeah.
in other places. It was this big custom build.
I can't remember the name. Oh man, I want to give him a shout out too because it was. I mean, it's just such a
It
beautiful.
looked. I'd seen pictures of it because it was one of those bikes that got custom built and like made the rounds because it was just super cool. But yeah, shouting them out and just being like, I've seen it in person, and if you ever have the ducats to pay for one of their builds, evidently it's worth it because it was pretty sick.
I mean, the paint was just beautiful. It had a full, insane stereo system. I think it had like roughly like a stage 2-ish performance upgrade, a big fat front tire. Road 6 customs? No, I don't fucking know.
We'll find out.
Yeah.
So we left there and then went up to Colorado Springs.
So day 2, we did, I want to say it was like 350 miles
Sounds right.
ish,
No.
give or take. Maybe 3.
I think it was just shy of 400.
Yeah. Yep.
It was still another
It was
decent
still
day.
a solid day.
But the rest of the ride into Colorado Springs was like our final evening ride into Colorado Springs, which from Pueblo to there, because the boys left because we got caught up chatting.
Yeah.
So it was just the two of
So
us.
they went early to check into the hotel.
and
we went.
I think we checked the GPS and it said it was like 40 something minutes to the hotel. And we were like, okay.
Time to beat.
And so I think we did it in like 30. Got there and parked, had dinner, and then we went and did a stop at 3Ds.
We did.
Because we knew Chris wasn't going to be there for the actual event.
Yeah.
Because
was
he had to
heading
go to
out
the
of
Indy
town.
500.
Yeah. That motherfucker, he flew into the Indy 500 on a helicopter.
What the fuck?
Right. I was like,
That's gangster.
Man.
Tight invite, bro.
I know. I'm like, clearly we need to start traveling together.
So we went up there to hang out with him and smoke and kind of unwind and which was dope. We got that huge table that we got to sit at and just relax, and the chairs were super comfortable.
It was nice.
Of course,
too.
I had to go shopping. We had all the cigars in the world with us, but
Jesus.
they had some brands in there that I hadn't had before. So
And it was nice too because instead of just walking in there on Saturday to go do the event, you guys have never been there before. So we got to go hang out and you got kind of the lay of the land in the humidor before we're walking in, because events can be kind of chaotic sometimes.
yeah.
And so you guys already had, okay, but restrooms are here. Here's where we can hang out. There's a humidor. Here's where we get waters or sodas if we want, all that kind of stuff. And you're not trying to figure it out in the middle of an event.
But I think my favorite part was the fact that we didn't have an event going on. So I got to spend time talking to Chris and Daryl and like got to know the owners without an event
and it's
happening.
super cool because Chris and his dad, Doug, are
Doug. Why did I say
2
Daryl?
out of the 3. Well, I think they have 3 owners. And it's really cool, the story behind it and how it got its name and everything like that. But that Colorado Springs location, Chris and Doug run it. And they're both crazy smart when it comes to like how to properly run.
They've got it dialed in.
A cigar lounge.
Our retailer of the month.
Absolutely, their retailer of the month. Yeah, and those boys, they earned that one.
Yes.
Yep, they crushed it. But we've done events there for the past, I think, since they opened. It's been 4 years, I think, at that location.
Well, they were telling me the first Warfighter event that happened there, the shop had been open like 60 days.
Yeah, not even.
And the Warfighter event happened.
Yep.
So...
Trip 6 Customs.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Trip 6 Customs, yes.
And it is... Boy, that bike was...
Mm-hmm.
There was a lot of man hours dumped into that fucking thing.
Just the paint alone. And I remember seeing that bike in pictures on the internet. And when I saw it in person, I was like, oh, those pictures don't do it any justice.
Nope. Not even close.
Yep.
But, so we got to hang out with them, and that was a great evening. And I think right around 9:30, 10 o'clock, all of us were just like...
And it's bedtime.
That's the bell. That's, Plus, we were operating about an hour ahead because we had flipped time.
I totally forgot about it.
Then completely forgot about it. So, now, day 3.
Whoa, day 3 is a day.
Part of the road, part of the schedule was Steve, our road captain, had left on a brand new bike. It had like 200 miles on it.
Left San Antonio, right?
Left San Antonio with like sub 200 miles on this bike. And he had figured out that map wise, we were going to hit Colorado Springs and he was going to have like 1,050 miles on the bike. Now on a new Harley, you're supposed to do a 1K service because they're built with a break-in oil in them. Mm-hmm. And then you have to go get all that shit out so you can actually run real oil and stuff. So part of the trip schedule was that morning.
Yeah.
We were going to, at a minimum, he was going to go to...
I think the plan is
Harley.
Him and Ken were going to go to Harley first thing because Harley has this amazing program and it's pretty much every dealership that if you're a traveler, if you're from out of town and you need something goes wrong on your bike or you're like Steve, his service was due and he wasn't home. They essentially put you immediately in the front of the line. They will pull a tech pull them off of a bike and do whatever service or fix whatever the problem is to get you back on the road instead of, oh yeah, cool. Well, schedule an appointment. It might be 2 weeks out. Like they're like, no.
Or even a standard case service, if they go like, hey, if you bring it to me in the morning, we'll have it back to you tomorrow and stuff like that. And it's like, well, I'm not going to be here tomorrow. It's like you have to, I need the bike back. What's really neat about it is that there's not a rider out there I've talked to that knows that's the program that has an issue if they got bumped. And because a traveler,
if it was like a local going to their local shop.
But it's also, it's not a written rule for Harley.
They just do it.
It's just
that's
like,
cool.
This is how we treat
that's
our
really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, if I take my bike, I live local, and I take it to my local dealer, and it takes them a couple days to get the service done. Part of that is also if there was somebody coming through San Antonio, and they were here for the day and needed the service done. Yeah, my bike's going to get delayed to get that guy back on the road and back out on his bike. Mm-hmm. And the plan was they were going to go get their bike serviced, and then you and I were going to go do Pikes Peak.
And Garden of the Gods.
Now, it got...
Couple things happened.
One...
we had to go do breakfast.
We had a breakfast that we had to go to, which was very last minute, but a great breakfast and totally worth it. With some guys that had texted. It just so happened we were all in the same town at the same time, and it worked.
Kinda. And this is the crazy part too, right? Those boys are from Denver. And so they hit me up Friday, and they're like, hey, let's do breakfast instead of just meeting before the event. I'm like, yeah, cool, no problem. They're like, we're early risers. And I'm like, okay, like we're up pretty early too, but that doesn't mean like 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Like if you want to meet for breakfast like 7 or 8, that's no problem. Mm-hmm. And they're like, cool, like how's 8:30 sound? I'm like, done. They're like, cool, we'll pick a spot, we'll send it to you in the morning. I'm like, okay. 6:04 in the morning.
Yeah.
Here's the location, blah, 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 blah. They drove down from Denver to meet us for breakfast.
By the way,
how
we did
far?
not know it was at 6:04 because we got up at like 7:30.
Yeah, and that's when I saw it.
Oh, but that's when we're going to breakfast.
Yeah,
so,
cool.
And how far is Denver from Colorado
A
Springs?
little over an hour.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But
Not
still, it's
horrible,
not,
but still.
you know.
Yeah, first thing.
Great breakfast, great dudes.
One dude, he owns like 23 bikes.
Yeah.
I mean, it was, awesome
it
breakfast.
was great dudes, cigar smokers, bike riders, watch guy. One of them was
I
a
know.
huge
It
watch
was
guy.
just like
Stuff.
a-
It was just like, all right, we have everything to
like
talk
we're
about.
friends now.
Great dudes, and the plan was to go ride Pikes Peak. Now, that storm that went through.
Mind you,
Also-
the summit of Pikes Peak is 14,100 feet.
But there's a road that goes to 12,200. Mm-hmm. And it's like one of the highest driving roads.
No, that road goes all the way to the top. But the mountain, so they have a hotline you can call
Right.
to tell you if it's open or not, right? And if there's because there's no guardrails.
Yeah.
And it's not like a nice sloping, no, it's a
It's a
fucking
fucking- it's a rocky
14K.
mountain.
Go watch Gymkhana.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Pikes Peak is where they do the Pikes Peak hill climb.
Yep.
And that contest, when they do that, they shut it down.
Mm-hmm.
So you can go do and they have the Pikes Peak run that happens. Now there's other people that do it. For example, that guy that was there tuning that ST.
Oh, yeah.
He was tuning that specifically for the elevation change to not lose power, to run his ST as fast as he could to the top of Pikes Peak.
Unofficially.
Unofficially. Which, hey, more power to you. So he called the hotline.
And they were
And the
like,
storm that had gone through, the peak was at like 24 degrees or 26 degrees.
Yeah.
Fucking cold. And
And
because of the storm that had gone
it's
through.
like 65 that morning for breakfast down where we were too.
But we were at 5,000 feet. So we were supposed to do like a 9,000 foot climb.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it froze the top of the mountain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
There
it
was
was
like
only open to like,
12.5, I think.
I think you told me like 11.8 or
Or
something.
something,
And
yeah,
then it was
it was
closed
something in
above
there.
that. So we were making the joke of like,
Like, if I can't take my bike to 14K, I don't give a fuck.
Then I
about
don't wanna
going
do
to
it.
12.
It's fair.
this is like going, we can fuck, but just the tip. Like, no, I either want the whole thing
Yeah.
or I don't
It's
want it.
all or nothing.
And,
But so we were like, you know what? Let's go meet the boys at the dealership. We'll give it a few hours. I'll call again. And if it warms up and the ice melts and it's open to the peak, then we
Yeah.
can run that real quick. And then,
Or
the
worst
event
case
didn't
scenario,
start
we'll
till
just
5.
go over and do garden.
Yeah, yeah.
And it'll be fine. Then
event-
we got slightly distracted.
Slightly is an understatement.
So we went to the dealership,
This wasn't planned, by the way.
which was having like a big Memorial Day party.
Yeah.
So there was
They had music and
music,
food
DJs, and food, and like
outside vendors.
6 different clubs were there. I mean, like it was this big, and we were like, all right. So we're looking around, and the two guys that we were with, like, look, I'm not in any hurry. I'm cool with a down day. We can just stay local.
I think
kinda
when
take
we
a break.
got there too, Steve's like, "Hey, I got about 2.5 or 3 hours until they're done." That service takes, especially on his trike, it takes like 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah.
And he got, I mean, the doors open and they wheeled as soon as they opened that
They
bay
were
door, they
waiting
wheeled the
for
bike
him
in.
at the service bay
Yeah.
to pull it in.
Very nice.
So by the time we got there, which was a couple hours later, he still had like 3 hours left on the service. Like before we could even think about as a group going on a ride somewhere else. So we're like, "Hey, fuck it, we'll hang out. We got nothing else to do." We had a couple things that we were looking for. I was looking for a pair of chaps because I've never owned them, and it would have been really nice.
Yeah, because there was a section of that ride. Actually, the ride into Colorado, I had my chaps on.
And
it
I
was
was jealous. You did,
Oh.
Steve did.
it was lovely.
Ken had his rain pants on, but similar. And I was just like, "Oh man!" I'm like, "Okay, I'll go check it out." And Pueblo didn't have my size. And what else we were looking for? A couple little pieces and parts. I was looking for a bag because I just had all my shit shoved in my saddlebags and in my trunk, and it worked until like we got to a hotel and I had to unpack half my bike, or I could have just taken a
Yeah,
bag.
me having to unclip 2 things and just pick my bag up was
I was just like, "God damn it! Okay, I need to find one of those."
and all my stuff was dry, which is
Yeah, mine
a perk.
Mine wasn't then.
But and then we wanted to get like a dealer shirt and
Yeah,
whatever
the-
else, right?
The typical touristy. Hey, I'm at Pikes Peak Harley Davidson.
Yeah. So
You did one better than a shirt.
we
We
did
did.
bring back souvenirs.
We did. So I ended up buying a bag, and then I returned the bag. And the only reason I returned the bag is because I traded my bike in, and the bag wouldn't fit on the new bike. 'Cause it didn't have
The tour pack luggage rack.
the luggage rack, on my tour pack.
Yeah. And then I traded my bike in and bought a new bike.
Yeah. I went from a 2011 Ultra to a 2024 Road Glide. I couldn't believe the difference in handling and performance in the difference in those bikes. It was such a change. Like, it's insane. But it's just like when I bought my 2011. I walked into the dealership. I had no intentions of buying a bike, and they pretty much gave me a deal that I could not say no to. And I was like, well, I guess I'm leaving with a bike today. So we get up to fucking Pikes Peak Harley Davidson, and I test rode a 2023 Road Glide ST. Had like 7,000 miles on it, bunch of work done to it and everything. And I was like, fuck, that ride's nice. I'm like, cool. Well, let's see let's work some numbers on this. But then I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, I got all this shit. I got a trunk. That Road Glide ST did not have a trunk. I was like, so I need like a couple grand in parts just to get home.
Yeah.
And I was just like, even the sales guy's like, you know what? I don't know if that's a bike for you. And I'm like, I'm glad we're on the same page. And I was like, do you have anything else that's not new? And he's like, we just got this other bike in literally yesterday afternoon.
And that bike might as well have been new.
It had 3,600 miles on it. All the parts that I was going to do to it was already on it. 2024 Road Glide, the shark skin blue color. They only made it that 1 year. And he walks out and he's like, this is it. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I'm like, I don't have to do anything to this.
It's a gorgeous bike, too.
I was like, well, give me some prices. Let me see some numbers. So I'll let you, because you knew the number before I did.
So what was funny is that, I actually got to meet the owner of Pikes Peak Harley. Super, super fucking nice guy. And so I'm sitting there and the sales manager's standing there, and they knew I was with John, so they were asking me, like, right, this is Texas, right? You guys need it? And I was like, yeah. And he was like, okay. And then I knew what they wanted for the ST, because he took me over to show me the ST. And I was standing there when they gave him the price on that one. And so I'm standing at the counter, and he was like...
And that was a great deal.
And he looks at me, and he was like, is John with you? And I was like, no, I think he's outside looking at that bike. And he goes, all right, tell him we'll sell him that bike for the same price. And I was like... And he walked away. The sales guy walked away, and I looked at the sales manager, and I was like, if he turns that fucking thing down, you come tell me. And I was like... Because
be shipping a bike back to Texas.
Shit. He comes in, and I'm standing there talking to the owner or whatever, and he was like, so what do you think? And I was like, I think you got a great deal. And I was like, you should look outside that garage door. And outside the garage door was another bike. And he looks at it, and he looks at me, and he looks at it, and he was like...
I was just like, fuck yes.
So...
Because we saw the color that Jazz got the day before at Pueblo. And as we were we're saying our goodbyes and inviting all the guys that we were talking with up to the event the next evening in Colorado Springs. And as we're doing all this, in the background, one of their techs pulls this bike in. They just got done prepping it to put it on the showroom floor. And Jazz and I look at each other and we're like, fuck, that is probably one of the best colors that Harley has ever made.
Yeah.
And we walked over, we took a look at it, we're like, damn, that's beautiful. Got on the bikes and left. The next day, that bike that was outside that Jazz was talking about,
they rolled it onto the floor at Pikes Peak. So, and I'm sitting there looking at it going like, son of a bitch. And I'm looking at it and da-da-da-da-da. And this other dude, the guy that was tuning the ST.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, these things are just too much. And he was like, you need to talk to the sales manager. I guarantee you it's not what you think it is. I was like, I don't know, man. Da-da-da. So the guy comes over and he's talking to me, and I was like, and the deal they offered me on that and the deal they offered me on the bike I was trading in, it was the same situation as John. It was like, this,
you can't say
not
no.
buy this. So I ended up buying a 2026 Road Glide in a limited color called Teal Thunder in black. And it is a stunning color.
And these guys, they know what the fuck they're doing too. Assholes.
Yeah.
We're sitting in there, we're looking at it, talking about it, everything like this. I leave, I go start talking about my other, my deal. And I walk back over to talk with Jazz, and Jazz is like, come outside with me. And I was like, well, okay. And we walk out this side door of the dealership, and they rolled that bike out in the sunlight because they knew.
Yeah.
And once the natural light hit that bike, it was just like, oh fuck, like that's.
I was so sold on that bike, I bought it without riding it.
Oh wow!
Like I sat on it. That was it. And I was like, I don't know, man. I've got all that work done to my other bike and da-da-da-da. And they were like, we'll move everything. All of your parts. We'll move everything from your old bike onto the new bike. Everything that will bolt in. We'll move over. And I was like, ugh. And I was like, I don't know, man. I don't want to carry anything negative off my old bike and whatever. So they look it up and they're like, we'll zero you out. We'll pay you retail for your bike, which is what you owe on it, is the retail value of the motorcycle.
Okay.
And I was like, okay. And I was like, I'm not really in the mood to fucking put cash down or whatever. They're like, no. We'll do this. Zero down. We'll zero your older bike out. We'll take this one. We'll prep you. We'll get it out for you today. And at this point, it was like 1 PM.
Yeah.
The dealership was closing in 5 hours.
Damn.
Yep. I bought a bag at 11. I returned it I bought a bag at 11. I bought a new bike at 1:30 or 2, and I returned the bag at 3 o'clock, and then I had to get on the road and go to 3Ds for the event.
Damn.
And I felt bad returning the bag because I can't say enough good stuff about Pikes Peak Harley Davidson.
The service we got there was...
Every aspect of that dealership, motor clothes girls, their parts counter, the service guys in the back, all their sales guys, their managers, their finance team. I mean, just above and beyond.
I mean, the owner was the one working my deal to speed it up. So he was... Because he owned the place, he had the number to call... call the bank about my deal because it was like taking a while to come back.
Right.
So he called and was like, this deal number, I need it pushed. He's an out of towner, like da-da-da-da-da-da. So they were doing everything to push this thing, including the service manager, my tech, and my sales guy stayed after they technically closed and still took me in the service bay and got me on the bike
to fit everything.
To fit my bars, my highway pegs, to fit everything on the bike to me.
That's
so it was
amazing.
set up because they knew the next morning I was on the highway to do another 400 miles.
Yeah.
And they were like, nope, you're going to be squared away when you leave.
That's awesome.
So if any of you guys are looking to get a bike, reach out to Pikes Peak Harley Davidson.
I mean, to the point to where John and I were talking about, like, hey, when it's time for the new ones,
we're just going to ride up
we'll
there.
just a good reason just to ride out to Colorado Springs and buy a new bike. Mm-hmm. That dealership, Pikes Peak Harley, they are.
They got to figure
well,
it
and
out.
Ken and Steve said it too. They were like, this is insane.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been to a lot of dealerships and just never been treated like that. And all of us collectively, not just one individually. Like even the service with Steve, Ken just showed up and he's like, oh, can we help you with anything? He's like, no, I'm just hanging out with my buddy, blah, blah, blah. And they looked at his bike and we just did 450 miles in the rain plus another 400 miles of just road grime and shit on it. And they're like, well, if you're just hanging out, we can pull your bike in the back and wash it for you. No problem. No cost. Ken's just like, okay. And they did a phenomenal. It's not like they just
it wasn't
sprayed
washed.
it down.
It was
and,
detailed.
Like,
they detailed that.
Yeah.
Thing.
That's incredible.
Well, I mean, to the point, Steve we missed that happened on the road. Steve got hit by a tire.
Oh shit.
Not hit a tire. Got hit by, a part of a tire.
Yeah.
And he swerved, but it tagged one of the fenders on his trike. And he had those clear bra things on it, but it nicked the bike. And so when they were doing it, they saw the nick and they were like, hey, we think we can buff this out. Mm-hmm. And he goes, but my buffer here is broken. So give me a minute. And that detail tech went to his manager and was like, this guy's an out of towner. He's got a nick on his bike from this ride. We just did his 1K. I want to run home and get my personal buffer and fix.
Wow.
Come back and fix it.
So the dude ran home, got his personal buffer, came back and buffed that thing out. And you cannot tell that ever happened.
Not one bit.
That's amazing.
And this was not like they charged him for paint repair or whatever. They charged him for his 1K service and then still did all of that. To the point where Steve was walking up to us going like, do you guys have cash?
He's like,
I want to
I need to
tip this guy.
Yeah.
I mean, it was the little shit. Like so they had picnic tables.
Yeah.
So of course we sat down and smoked cigars and stuff. And we went in to get coffee and the coffee urn was empty. And most dealerships, when it happens, you just kind of wave at somebody and you're like, hey man, coffee urn's empty. And they're like, that's cool, we'll get it. And there's always a guy that works there, and his job is to
he's the coffee guy.
He makes coffee, he puts water back in the fridge. He's just kind of like he empties out trash, and he just keeps the dealership ready for when riders show up that we expect when we go to these dealerships. And they're like, we got it, don't worry about it. And we're like, cool. And we went back outside to our cigars, expecting somebody will pop a door open and be like,
Hey,
boys, coffee's ready. Nope. This guy showed up. We were sitting there smoking. He showed up, set down 4 cups of coffee, creamer, sugar, the whole 9 yards, said, here you go, guys. And then I was like, son of a bitch.
I told one of the guys at one point, I'm like, you guys keep doing shit like this. We're just not leaving. Yeah. We're just going to go stay in the hotel. We're just going to come back and hang out every day. Like, this is crazy.
That's awesome.
It was an amazing, amazing experience. And then the longer we hung out, because we had bought bikes and they had to be made ready. And like, you technically bought a red tag bike. The bike technically hadn't been made.
Yeah, it wasn't allowed to be
sales
sold.
ready yet because it had been traded in the day before. And they kicked everything else out of service to get his red tag bike in there to green tag it so it could be sold. So we had a couple hours we had to hang out. And the more we hung out and talked to guys, the more we were finding out, like, these weren't guys that worked at Harley. These were riders. These were bikers to the core. A lot of these guys were full patch members for very large clubs. Mm-hmm. I mean, it was, and their cuts were like hanging in their office. Like if you walked by, it was just on the back wall. And so the longer the day went on, some very large clubs started showing up, and they were all super fucking cool. Like they've always been when I'm around them. I did have to shoo them away from my bike though, because I had to leave because they parked it out front. They wanted a picture, and so like they were all. This color isn't really out there yet, so everybody was sitting there just like
a lot of the local shops. It's all back ordered, but it's the one that Jazz got has that color scheme, but it also has a black package on it. And I feel like Harley made like 3 of those, and Jazz got 1 because down here everybody's waiting on that, and they're not even like slated for production. But some places are getting the ones, but they're the full chrome package, and it just doesn't.
It doesn't look the same.
No.
But after my experience at Pikes Peak, I know where they got it. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. Oh, whatever you guys want.
They also told me how many units they moved last month, which is not a riding month for Colorado, and it's
insane,
absurd. They told me they moved like 140 something units out of that dealership last month.
Wow.
So that was at the so that would have been in April.
Yeah, that's still cold there.
Yeah,
cold.
So yeah, the experience at Pikes Peak was.
Yeah, it was awesome. To the point where one of the sales guys, after we're done, and they're literally getting ready to close up, and I still needed to get a bag, and they just didn't nowhere had a bag in stock that was the size I needed that would fit where I needed to mount it. And so this dude pulls me aside and he's like, hey man, listen, I got this bag. And he explains it to me. It's one of their rollers and everything. It's really super fucking nice. And it's like a $400 bag. And he's like, I've used it twice because I have no use for it anymore. He goes, I can sell it to you if you want it. And I was like, yeah, like I need a bag, man. I was like, I'm in. And I was like, it's not like all beat up and torn. He's like, no, it's brand new. He's like, the wheels don't even have marks on it because I've never rolled it. I carried it to put it on my bike. And I was like, shit. I'm like, yeah, I'm in. I was like, how much? He's like, $150. And I'm like, done. I was like, shit. I'm like, do you have it here? I'm like, I have 4 minutes and I need to get on the road right now and haul ass to 3Ds because the event's about to start and I'm about to be late. And he's like, I don't, man. And he's like, but I can swing home, pick it up, and I'll meet you at 3Ds. And we can go from there. And I was just like, done.
So we finish up the bikes. John calls me, texts me, because he had to leave and go to the event. I'm still buttoning up my bike. Texts me, he goes like, hey man, can you go rip the plate off of my motorcycle?
Oh, yeah, I forgot. And I had a plate I didn't want to leave.
And I was like, yeah, sure, no problem. Thinking it's the fucking plate. At worst, he's got 2 bolts on it, and I just have to undo the bolts and do it. This motherfucker. So I get out to his bike and I look at it and I was like, come on.
It's a pain in the ass.
So,
and I forgot. I really did.
My sales guy's the one helping me. And he's running back and forth in the garage to try and find the right wrench to get in there to do this thing. And I finally look at it and I was like, we're doing this the hard way. And he was like, what? And so I unclip his trunk, rock the trunk forward. He still didn't have the right size wrench. He finally goes in there and ends up with a Canadian socket set. I was like, why, we should have started with this. But I'm in there. So it's me holding the trunk up. We undo the 17 fucking bolts that holds his damn license plate. He's like, all right, I'll get this done. I was like, nope. And I grabbed the whole bracket and everything that we bolted
whole
with
thing,
the plate.
not just the plate.
Picked it all up, shoved it in my saddlebag, and I was like, he's getting the whole damn thing.
Yep.
And so...
But by me forgetting mine,
It reminded me to grab mine.
yeah.
And now mine's not as cute as his is,
Mhm.
but so far I have pulled the plate off of the motorcycles that I've owned, and now I have
Hell yeah.
like my collection of all of my bikes. But no, mine has got this crazy curve on it though now because I had the curve on it to match my fender, so I have this like half moon license plate. But so we get over to the event. You were already there. The boys had gotten there, and I was the last one to show up. And it was a great event.
The two guys from Pueblo rolled in.
Not only did they roll in, they rolled in with a cold 6-pack too.
They did.
Hell
and then they
yeah.
hung out for like an hour and a half. Great dudes, awesome conversations. Like Jazz saying, Chris was out of town, so Doug was there running, the joint. There's a couple guys that work there as well. But there's a core group of dudes that hang out that every time we do an event there, they've been coming for years. So I feel like I really know these guys, So we get to sit down and bullshit with those guys for a while towards the end of the night once, everything kind of slowed a little bit. But for just a random impromptu cut and light on a holiday weekend, we'd had a great event. Went through a bunch of cigars. Obviously we had a redacted cigar up there, so we got that promo out to all the people. And guys, even with Colorado and how crazy everything is up there, guys are just walking in and they're like, "Oh yeah, give me a box of that, or I'll take a box of this and a box of that." And I'm like,
It was a
shit,
lot
guys.
of sticks.
Like, hell yeah.
And man, we were there. Obviously, 3 of us are friends, but we're not affiliated with Warfighter. But they knew we were there with you.
Yeah.
So the red carpet just got rolled out. And
They
were just like,
do it
"Boys,
right."
we're like, we've got drinks for you. We've got cups for you. Your food's over here. Like we ordered pizza for you. Like this, that. I mean, it was just like this red carpet rollout for the guys that just rode there with him. And it was just like, oh man, this is
Yeah. We had a couple guys showed up on bikes. They didn't stay and hang out, so we didn't get the full blown bike night.
In all fairness, it
feel
was
that
also
we wanted.
kind of shitty out. Like
It wasn't
the
good weather.
day during the day, it was
beautiful,
gorgeous, and then we got like this weird, like drizzly, pissy stuff that happened in the evening. So I don't really hate anybody that
I get it.
by the time that happened, it was just kind of gross out. I get you not wanting to roll your bike out in that. Like
There was a chance of rain here yesterday, and I left my bike here and had Malcolm pick me up because I don't feel like riding. I was like, I don't have to anymore.
You've probably got enough of it for the year. After
For a
day
couple
1,
years.
yeah, for a couple years, yeah.
Yep.
but
that wasn't the only day we got caught in the rain.
Nope.
We'll get to that one.
Yeah,
It's the first and last.
So the event went well. The next day we had,
I was so looking forward to Sunday.
and it was like 300 miles that we had to do.
Yep.
Or
And
something.
we're
on our way to Roswell, New Mexico from Colorado Springs.
No, that was the next day.
That's right. The next one was
Colorado
Santa Fe.
Springs to Santa Fe, which the reason I was so excited for that is we're about to hit the canyons and go over the Rockies onto the west side of the Rocky Mountains of the range, and then cut down through Navajo Nation across the what do they call it? Big Sands.
Yep. The Great Sand Dunes.
Yep.
Yep.
And
Sorry, this is day 3
this
or day,
day
4?
four.
Day
This would've
4.
been day 4.
Gotcha.
Day 3 was in Colorado Springs.
Okay, gotcha.
That was supposed to be Garden of the Gods in Pikes Peak.
Yes.
But the weather didn't play. And then we also,
Had to buy new motorcycles.
Yeah, couldn't say no to Pikes Peak Harley. And so day 4 was that Sunday, and we were going Colorado Springs to Santa Fe, a little over 300 miles. In theory, it's only like 4 to 6 hours in the saddle, but we like hanging out. Right. And especially at this point, like we're in no rush. We already have the route planned. So we just have to get there.
Because the only hard time we had was that event.
Yeah.
So now it was like, if we get into the hotel a little later or whatever.
It's not like, we have to be there at 3. Like we could roll in at 9. Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so we made a couple stops. Super, super cool ride though.
The canyon ride though.
Running through those canyons. I got those on some time lapse. We'll see if we can get those. At least a portion of it, posted up and cut into the video. And then we get through all these canyons and we get up on the high plains on the west side of the mountain ridge. And it was just a straight flat road with just mountains as the horizon on both sides. In a storm off to our right that never,
Yeah,
it
somehow,
looked like we were going to get wet. Nope.
And
it was real nice.
But the temperature was amazing and all that kind of stuff. And so, but that ride through the canyons, it was Sunday on Memorial Day weekend, so you had like people fly fishing in the river and
people floating tubes, whitewater rafting.
It's just mountains awesome. On every side. And it was just, the traffic wasn't near as bad as I thought we were going to deal with. So we could actually like sit there and kind of play with the roads. And it was stunning. We got to Santa Fe. That's a town.
Now downtown Santa Fe isn't that bad. And that is like a 8 square block radius. Outside of that, you can skip it.
It's interesting because now the ride into it, they build it up like it's going to be this really cool like cultural mecca because like all the bridges have like stuff engraved on them and all the stuff on the way in, and there's an opera house that you pass and like all, and it's like holy shit, like I'd never been to Santa Fe, so I was like, and all of the buildings are designed to look like these Adobe style, like building stuff. And then you got into Santa Fe proper, and it was just like, it turns out when you build everything to look like that Adobe finish, it's just a sea of brown. Like, and it was one of those like, that building style is really unique when it's alone, but when it's just a sea of that,
it doesn't matter. It's not cool anymore.
It just doesn't. It's not as cool. And that was another one where we got there. We went and had dinner. We ate at IHOP, which was.
And it was surprisingly good.
Yeah, really good. And we were like the only ones in it.
We were.
And service was super fast, and it was surprisingly good. I don't know if that was just because road days are just hard days, or if it was legitimately just a really good IHOP experience. But
I wasn't mad at it.
I wasn't mad at it at all.
I did get to try mozzarella sticks with honey mustard.
Ooh, and the verdict?
Big fan.
Nice.
Like honey mustard is a very underrated condiment.
I 100% agree.
And it should be used on more things like mozzarella sticks. And for you listeners out there, you go try it, and then you'll thank us.
It's
like I thank Jas. I was just like, oh my god, yeah.
To the point where you've done it a couple times now because
and I've done it honey mustard on more than just mozzarella. I did it on Gator Bites.
Ooh.
And I was just like, yeah, way better than ranch or jalapeno ranch or anything like that. Yep.
So then that's right. Then the next day was Santa Fe to Roswell.
Yes.
Now,
that's day 5.
This is now day 5.
Monday.
Gotcha.
The road from Santa Fe to Roswell looks like some god just reached down with a Sharpie and just drew a line through nothing. Like it doesn't bend. It doesn't move.
So here, I'll give you, this is our route from Santa Fe to Big Spring, Texas, because that's where we wound up that night. We took a left, a right, and a left, and then a right, and then a left, a right, and a left, and we were at the hotel.
Wow.
That was it.
That was the entire ride.
That was it.
And both of what he's just described was when we hit Roswell and had to go into Roswell and turn left downtown and then turn right to get towards the highway and then left on the highway. And it was the same thing on another town that the highway, we had to get it on the other side. So the highway goes into that town and I don't even remember the name of that.
It was some small town.
We didn't even stop.
West Texas.
And we turned through it and then kept going.
And then when we get to Big Springs, we just rode into town and took a right, and that was a hotel.
Hell yeah.
No, it sucked. It was straight. It was flat. We had a crosswind the whole way.
Oh, not hell yeah.
Now,
take my hell yeah back.
I bought a brand new bike. Now, when you buy a brand new Harley, it has one of 2 mileages on it, 6 or 7. I got one with 6. Now, you are not supposed to take the bike above about 3,200 RPMs. You're not supposed to ride it hard. You're not supposed to whatever.
You got to vary your RPMs.
You got to vary the RPMs. Blah, blah, so it's actually a pain in the ass. Doing it in a day is definitely kind of the way to do it. I did it in about a day and a half because the first day wasn't long enough. It was 300 and something miles.
3 and some change.
I know when I got up the next morning, I was like, I have 146 miles or something before the break-in. Before I'm going to hit 500 miles and I'm broken in and I can actually ride this thing like I want to. So I tell John that. John looks at his odometer and does the math.
We stopped and got gas. We stopped and got fuel. And I'm like, where you at? And he's like, I have 33 miles. And I literally reset my trip odometer on my bike. I was like,
because we stopped at Carl's Corner. What was that thing? It's this super cheesy gas station that is like 99% gift shop. Klein's Corner. It's like 99% gift shop. And
I'm sunburned at this point, so I bought a long sleeve shirt from Klein's Corner.
Nice.
I bought a switchblade comb.
He did. He's like, John, he's like, when's the last time you seen one of these? I'm like, fuck, man, it's probably been 25 years. He's like, I'm getting it.
And it was like in the yellow box and everything with the switchblade comb in it. And I was like, it was $2 or something. I was like, I'm buying this.
That's hilarious.
This is going home with me. And
do you have it on you?
I don't have it on me.
Because every time we'd pull over, we'd stop, take our helmets off, and he'd be like, chink. And he'd comb his beard out, put it back in his pocket.
It was incredible. And so he stopped we were at Klein's Corner. I was like, I have 33 miles. And he went, dink. And I told the other two, I was like, look, at this point, we were like 100 miles from Roswell at Klein's Corner. I had 33 miles to break in. And I was like, as soon as this thing says 500 miles, and Ken goes like, your ride style is going to change. And I was like, yep. So it hit 33. I hit it. It hit 500 miles. And I mean, my digital odometer went dink and said 500 miles, and John appeared next to me.
And I was like, huh? Yeah.
So I rode it for a little bit, and it said 501. And I was like,
there we go.
And so we downshifted and left the right lane with them. Ken sped up to be with Steve, and I see Steve just wave like this. And
then we didn't see Ken and Steve until the Welcome to Roswell sign.
So it was
like, I got some videos of that too.
Hell yeah.
And we'll try to cut one of those in so you guys can see it. But yeah, so essentially we slowed down. So these new bikes, they have different riding modes. And on the new ones, they tell you, okay, you have cruise mode, you have rain, slippery, and then you have sport mode. And they're like, don't put it in sport mode until your braking miles are done. And I'm like, okay, cool. So as soon as clicked over, I saw him cycling through his modes. I'm like, oh yeah, here we go. And then he starts slowing down, right? Because we're cruising in 6th gear.
We were doing like 75.
Yeah, so you don't want to just like, oh, let's see what it's got in 6th gear. Like you want to drop down to like 3rd, So we slowed down just a little bit, clicked down into the 3rd, kind of look at each other, and we're like, yep, gone. And that didn't stop for...
Well, like 70 miles.
No, but about 20 miles of it, we would slow down to one point, like we're looking in the mirrors, and there's nobody.
And what I mean by flat and looking, it was damn near you could damn near see the horizon line.
I could probably see 5 miles in either direction, and there was not a vehicle in front of us or behind us.
Damn.
I mean, we passed some, and we got far enough ahead, and so we slowed down to like 6-7 miles an hour, and then just fucking went. Right, and like, okay, like I could have stopped, but whatever. I won't put my feet down. And but yeah, I mean, we cruised all the way into Roswell.
When we got close enough that we could see the signs of like civilization again.
Yeah.
That's finally when we stopped.
And we kept it
like
85, 90.
Hammering on the bikes and got in the same lane and just kind of rode.
Yep.
Relatively responsibly the rest of the way into the city because I wasn't trying to get a ticket. I did want to see what the bikes were doing but doing that close enough to where some city cop or even county cop with what we were doing.
Yeah, they would have been like,
we were going to jail,
guys.
Yeah, like that was
So the funny part too is up until that point when Jas hit his break-in miles, I was getting like 54 miles to the gallon because it tells you, right? We got to the sign at Roswell. I was getting 31 miles a gallon.
That's some quality fun right there.
Oh, we went from like, I got 300 plus miles to this tank.
So I think it told me I had like 170.
We filled up. We went 33 miles. He hit his thing. By the time we got to Roswell, we were both below half a tank.
It was well, at one point we crossed a county line. We hit the county line, and I remember because the new ones have these huge digital dashes on them, and it's a massive screen. And I remember we crossed. I saw the sign. I looked over and saw the sign, and it said county line. And I remember looking at my dash and saw the clock, and then I noticed the next county line had been 6 minutes.
Sounds about right.
We cleared the county in 6 minutes.
Hell yeah.
We also found where the speed limiter is on the
We did.
The new
it
M8.
kind of sucks because
There was more.
there's a lot.
There's
more.
a lot more, but they have it speed limited.
Yep.
And which is fixable.
112, by the way. If
Yeah, it's
if you're trying to
112
figure it
miles an
out.
hour is the actual.
We'll save you
Which-
the Google.
Which is 180K. It's 180 kilometers an hour.
But so we get to Roswell. We take some pictures in front of the "Welcome to Roswell" sign.
Which look like this.
Yeah. Another cool thing. I know Warfighter sends out our circle stickers. We have the put the sticker somewhere and tag us #Warfighter Tobacco. Every state line that we cross, there's stickers on these signs.
Every state sign and Roswell.
And Roswell. And so I have, and we'll dump these pictures too. I got pictures of, so if you go on those routes in New Mexico, Colorado, any of those signs back into Texas, there's going to be Warfighter stickers on all of those signs, including the Roswell sign. And I'm a taller gentleman, so I get to jump up and slap it on a thing, and it usually stands out. It's good placement.
The dope one was the Colorado one, because the Colorado one, the guardrails by the "Welcome to Colorful Colorado," that big wood one.
Yeah, because
The
it's beautiful.
guardrail-
So nobody puts stickers on the sign. I appreciate that.
And the sign got left alone, but the guardrail, for probably a good 100 feet in front of that thing, left and right, is signed or has stickers on it or all that kind of stuff. And
There's right by the base of the sign, there's a spot. Slap.
Yep.
There we go.
So, but it was then Roswell, New Mexico.
Roswell, Jesus.
Roswell, New Mexico is exactly what you expect.
Yeah.
It is.
That was your first time there, right?
I'd never been to Roswell, and everybody else was like, "You're
I've
in
been
for
there a couple
treat."
times, and so
And so the "Welcome to Roswell" sign is this like weird sci-fi version of essentially the Vegas sign. Like it's like
yeah,
this funky shape, and there's a spaceship on top of it, and all this kind of stuff. And we have a bunch of pictures in front of it, and I think we have a picture of just the bikes in front of it too.
yeah.
But then you ride into Roswell, and it is every business that exists has a little green man
Everyone.
somewhere. If it's not painted on, it is a statue of it. There was a Holiday Inn Express that the parking overhang in front of the front doors, the pillars were green aliens that were holding the overhang up, and the street lights downtown, the street lamps,
Yeah.
are the bulb style and all had the alien eyes painted on it to make them all look like alien heads. And I was like, look, we don't have to stay here. I think we ate there. We had a burger at Lotta Burger.
Blake's. Yeah.
Lotta Burger.
Not Whataburger.
Lotta Burger.
Lotta Burger.
It was really good. If you're a San Antonio local, it's very close to Burger Boy,
Oh, okay.
where it's like they have like 3 variations on a cheeseburger. They have onion rings, fries, a hot dog, and a couple of milkshakes, and that's like the whole fucking
That's it.
menu.
They have like
it's,
seven main ingredients and a bunch of combinations.
it's a really simple burger, just executed really well, and it was like $6.
Yeah.
So I wasn't mad at it. But then I only asked for one thing in Roswell, and I was like, we have to stop at one of these tourist trap spaces because I'm buying something from fucking Roswell, New Mexico. I've got to get something for my wife, and I've got to get something for me. I'm just too much of a nerd, and it's Roswell, and I want to stop and get something. So Ken goes, I'll find us a place to stop on the route. And I was like, cool. He's like, all right, I found one, but it's in downtown, but there's a parking lot right around the corner that we don't have to pay for, so it's good. He's like, I was like, rock on. So he takes us down there, and of course, if you've ever been to any town like Myrtle Beach or Corpus Christi or any of those where that main drag in their downtown is like restaurant, like souvenir store, restaurant, souvenir store, bar, restaurant, souvenir store. That's Roswell, except for it's all alien and new age shit. So you could either get souvenir stuff or you could get a rock that you're supposed to shove in your ass for health or something.
Yeah.
But he found this store off a random Google, and it was next to the Roswell brick shop that sold custom Lego kits for sci-fi stuff, which was weird. A rock shop, and then this place that was just called Hangar 209, and it had like a big... And I was like, this is perfect. This is exactly what I'm looking for. And we walked in, and he outdid himself. That store
was insane. I have his card right here.
Exactly what I wanted.
Yep.
And we met the owner.
Dominic Batista.
Yeah.
And social media, hanger_209 on Instagram, hanger209 on Facebook, hanger209.com is a website. Shameless plug for this dude because
one,
he
the
did
customer
it right.
service was over the top, but two, his stuff in there wasn't a bunch of Chinese ordered shit that was in there. He and his buddy do all the graphic design, so all their stuff was unique to the store. So he was selling like hats and shirts and t-shirts.
There was like 5 shirts that we picked up. Like, oh, I'm getting this one. And then you walk like 3 feet and you're like, ooh, and you put that one back. You're like, no, I need this one.
Yeah. And and then he had, I don't know, 40 different patches that you could get that were all his graphic
pins.
design and pins and all this kind of stuff.
I mean, everything. It was great.
It was phenomenal. So I was able to get Jack, my son, a Roswell t-shirt that's super fucking dope. Got my wife this big, huge, oversized Roswell. I was like, she's not going to wear like a
Roswell shirt
t-shirt in public. But I'll go to this big, huge thing she can walk around the house in, and she loves it. It's super dope. And then I had a t-shirt in my hand, and I was like, this is it. I'm going to do it. And then I looked up, thankfully, and went, oh, shit. And John comes over, he's like, you ready to go? And I was like, and John goes, yep.
I was like, yeah,
So,
you need that.
this guy had custom skateboard decks done with his graphics on it.
It was the same graphics that you wanted
From
on the t-shirt.
but it was on a skateboard deck.
Yeah.
And not only was that, he had them in all the different sizes. And he was like,
So you could actually use it.
If you don't like the size on the wall, I have all the other measurements in the back. So if you wanted like an 8 or an 8 1/4, or he had all of the different widths. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not going to skate it. I want to hang it either in my store or I want to hang it in my office. And he's like, if you hang it in your store, take a picture and tag us. We'd love to see it. Mm-hmm. I was like, yeah, absolutely. And that's why we're shouting him out on this. But I got the skateboard deck and I was super stoked on it, and then walked outside and went,
I'm on a motorcycle.
I have a fucking skateboard deck and I'm on a motorcycle. So
look at the picture.
We So thanks to Hood Rat Engineering and some bungee cords, I rode the last 400 something miles of that trip, as you can see in this picture, with a skateboard deck strapped to my luggage on the back of my motorcycle. And it worked. It never moved. I didn't feel it.
Like, it was peak teenage dirtbag right there.
Yeah, it was.
It literally to the point where like we pull out of Roswell and we're getting back on the highways, and Jazz is riding kind of in front of me off to the right, and I'm just visually seeing this, and like I had a DJI camera, mounted on my handlebars so I could record some stuff and do whatever, but I couldn't get like, you can't zoom on it, And so I set my cruise control. I pulled my phone out and I zoomed in and took a bunch of pictures of Jazz riding in front of me, because I was like, I've been riding a long time, and I don't know if I've ever seen somebody with a skateboard deck strapped to the back sissy bar on his bike. I need to get a picture of this.
So sick.
Yep.
For those of you that ride or in the motorcycle community that might hear this, it is quite possibly the most Dyna Bro thing I have ever done on a motorcycle.
Seriously.
It was but it worked. The picture actually looks dope because of just how we had the board oriented. So
we made sure it was upright so you could like read it.
Yeah.
As it's on the bike.
But it worked. He got home just fine, and it was strapped to my luggage bag. So even when we stopped, when I disconnected my luggage bag from the bike, it was just strapped to the bottom of the bag. So I just picked the bag up and and then we got to Big Spring. If you've ever been in Big Spring, Texas, there's fuck all.
And especially on Memorial Day weekend, on Monday, the actual Memorial Day, there's literally not, like, thankfully across the highway was a restaurant.
It was something
that it came highly recommended from anybody that we talked to at the hotel, because there was literally nothing else that was open except for like Wendy's, and so we go to this restaurant, and by God, did they have a unique menu.
So the outside of it was just a box. It's a box on the side of the highway, and outside on the wall it just says steak and seafood restaurant.
Yep.
No name. No, nothing. It just said steak and seafood restaurant. So we go in. Now, I'm kind of expecting like a steak restaurant, like a steakhouse that got opened in like the 70s and just didn't get updated.
Yeah. That's kind of what I was under the impression as well.
But it wasn't. Like,
Not
we
one
walked
bit.
in, and it was a room with pseudo-matching tables in it.
Yeah, it looked like a convenience store and a Mexican restaurant had a baby, and then they decided to serve steaks in there. But that wasn't it.
It was. So then on the walls, you had like this weird kitschy seafood stuff, like a captain's wheel, and like a picture of a boat, and then this weird bar in the corner that didn't serve liquor, and one of those. If you've ever been to Chinese,
They did have beer and wine,
They did.
and the Coors banquets were also delicious.
Oh,
that
they were
day.
perfect. And then on the bar, if you've ever been to one of those Chinese food buffets that have like that really ornate Chinese ship,
I think I know what you're talking about.
it's like got the sails and everything, and it's in that really weird,
yeah.
like dark, like purpley red wood. There was one of those on the bar, and I was like, "What the hell is going on?" We sit down. The only condiments on the table were soy sauce and off-brand ketchup
And salt and pepper.
and salt and pepper. And I was like, "Okay." And this really nice lady comes over and gives us our menus, and I open it up, and it was the steaks, and there was like 4 of them.
And they all came with seafood. You
They
couldn't just
all
get a
came-
steak by itself.
So it was either steak and lobster or steak and shrimp.
Huh.
There was no solo steak. Then there was just seafood dishes. Then there was an entire gumbo menu,
And an entire fajita menu.
an entire fajita menu, and then an entire fried rice menu.
Yep.
Holy shit.
But that was it. There was nothing else.
That was the entire menu.
wild choice of options.
And then they had fried seafood as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
And John goes like, "I'm thinking about getting hush puppies just to try them." And there was a table one over, and I was like, "Are you sure?" And I pointed, and the dude's plate was clean, except for all the hush puppies were still just sitting in the middle of it. And I was like,
Maybe not.
so we got our Coors banquets. She brought those, and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna go fajitas, because even on the low end,
There's still fajita.
it's still a fajita, right? I was blown away. They were
We all ended up going with different style fajitas. I think I did the combo. You did
steak. Steve did chicken, and
I think Ken did steak as well.
I think he did steak and
Yeah.
chicken.
Oh, yeah.
And it came out. The vegetables were
They
super
were
fresh.
fucking-
The
they
beef
were
was
good.
great. The tortillas were so fresh and so fucking hot you couldn't touch them.
Yeah. I was a big fan. I'm glad we got that instead of anything else on that menu.
And then, but that was Memorial Day itself. Mm-hmm. And so we went next door and got another 6er of Coors Banquets.
Yep.
And the stubby little bottles, which is the appropriate way.
Hell
the
yeah.
only way.
Shoved those in the trunk of your bike.
Yep.
Rode back over to the hotel, which was quite literally on the other side of the highway. So it was 300 meters.
Yeah,
Like we
if
just
that.
rode around and parked. None of us went upstairs. We immediately walked over. The hotel was under construction. So the patio area was shut down, but they were like, you can sit in the bench out front.
They had one bench on one side, and then they had all the construction of the overhang, the little drive-through that hotels have that you can park under where you go check in.
Yeah.
And it was all like blocked off and roped off, and had like a little walkway into it, and then like a walkway into the front of the hotel. So on one side of all of this, and it's probably, 80 feet in between, there's a bench here that you could fit, 2-3 people on. And then 80 feet on the other side was another bench. And we have 4 of us. We're not all going to fit on one.
Yeah.
So we're walking up to it, and I looked at John, and John looked at me, and we walked over and picked the bench up and walked it the 80 feet over and turned it. And without even talking to each other, we looked at it, and we kept like gauging it on how close it was to the curb so we could set it down. And as soon as we set it down, we both sat there and used the curb and kicked our feet up. And
But for each of us, because we're different,
Yeah, so
Yes,
it
you
was
are.
like,
So it was candid. We both perfect on the. We're like, oh yeah.
and we sat there and smoked a cigar and told stories.
We had a couple cigars.
And then
Steve and Ken had one. Then they called it a night. Went upstairs. Jazz and I finished that 6-pack, and yeah,
and smoked and told stories, and it was exactly what, in my opinion, what Memorial Day is about. It was about telling stories and remembering and
Yep.
all that kind of stuff, and then went to bed and got up in the morning and
went to bed. We got up in the morning. Right. The plan was we were going to be down at the bikes, kickstands up at 08, 8 o'clock in the morning. We're out. And And so we got up, and there was a Starbucks right next door. And Jazz and I, at this point of the trip, we're sick of fucking
Can't do lobby coffee.
hotel coffee. And so we're going to go. I think Jazz was finishing packing stuff up and like, hey, man, I'm going to run next door to Starbucks. Text me what you want. I walked next door, and as soon as I got out of the hotel, I started looking around, and I was just like, oh, shit. And so I run next door. I get coffees real quick and come back, go upstairs, hand Jazz his coffee, and I'm like, you get your shit. Like, we need to get it. We're 30 minutes late. And he's like, what? And I pulled up the radar, and we'll throw a picture up of what the radar looked like. So we're that tiny little blue dot in Big Spring. And just to the west of us, to the left, is this massive storm system with like all these red warning blocks, and it's moving towards us in a very fast manner. So we grab all of our bags and shit, and we beat feet downstairs, and we walk outside to start loading everything on the bikes. And Steve and Ken are down there, and they same thing. Mm-hmm. They're getting their stuff loaded up. They're drinking the rest of their coffee real quick, and Steve looks over at me, and he's like, you checked the radar? And I'm like, yeah, we're late. And he's like, yep. I was like, shit. So we load up as fast as we can, and we get on the road. That screenshot of that storm system was 7:22 in the morning. And so it took us about 8-10 minutes, get everything loaded up, and we're pulling out of that parking lot. We filled up the night before, so we didn't have to do it in the morning. And there was a very, very thin chance that we were going to skirt in between these two cells and might be okay. We were about, I don't know, five minutes too late. And so we come up over this hill.
And we see it.
And it was immediately Steve puts his blinker on, and we pull over. And I explained it in the moment. It was the equivalent of if you're in the military and somebody yells gas, gas, gas. Mm-hmm. We all pulled over. We're all throwing our rain because it's starting to rain on us. Like the system is coming over us.
We can watch it come and to see the bikes and the bags pop, and you see people just pulling rain gear out, sitting there hopping on the side of the road trying to get into this shit.
I don't even think I turned my bike off. It's idling, and I'm just trying to throw shit on as fast as I can. And so we got about, I don't know, maybe 20 miles of rain. Super cool to use the rain mode on the new bikes, though.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
It works.
Traction control, the whole nine. Like, it was awesome. So we get through that, and then we spent the entire rest of the day running from this storm. And this storm was chasing us all across West Texas, into San Angelo, into San Antonio, because I came straight here, walked in, said hi to you guys, made sure the world didn't end while we were gone.
Yep.
And then got home, and as soon as I got home, that storm rolled right over us, and it rained all fucking night long in vicious rain.
It was aggressive, yes.
Yeah.
But other than that ride was very uneventful.
The last day?
From Big Springs to here.
Yeah. I mean, there's not a lot.
At all.
Uh,
More straight, flat. Not much.
There's not a lot. And then...
we got into Junction, and we were going to make a fuel stop, and then it was kind of like, okay, everybody... Like, once we got into San Antonio, everybody had their own way to go. I was coming here. Jazz was going home. Steve was going home.
Ken was peeling off and burning and stuff. So Junction was kind of the end of ride.
The ride's over. It was awesome. We got all our hugs in, the whole nine. Can't wait to do this again. Let's start planning next year. But Steve was going to hang out for a little bit. And, we just spent 6 days riding together.
Yeah, he looked at me and he was like, you guys go ahead. I'm going to hang out here and rest a little bit or whatever. I was like, I'm not fucking
all of us were like,
you here.
No, dude, like, we'll hang out. Like, we didn't make it this far to split up and just, okay, now we're just going to ride solo.
Yeah.
Like, we still got, 100 plus miles before we're back home. Like, no, And so we got some coffee, hung out, lit a cigar by the bikes. 20 minutes later, Steve's like, okay, let's get on the bikes.
Yeah, he got like a cup of coffee and a cigar in him and was like,
oh, I'm alive again.
Let's get going because that rain's chasing us down. And it was like, fuck. But at that point, the weather had cleared and the radar was looking like it wasn't there. So those two left the rain gear on, and John and I both just kind of went, fuck it. And I pulled everything off. And yeah, I mean, it was a hell of a journey.
But yeah, 6 days. 6 days in the saddle.
I just remembered. Won't happen again.
The
With that manager that yelled at you for me.
I forgot about that. So we're in Big Spring, right? It's the morning that storm's about to hit, and literally the bikes are idling. We're letting the bikes warm up. All the gear's loaded. We have all of our shit on. We have our helmets on, the whole nine. And Jas looks over at me and he's like, "I gotta pee." And I was just like, I don't know what to tell you, man. We're 20 seconds away from kickstands up.
Yeah.
And so he like looks around and he's like, "I'm gonna pee on the light pole." And I'm like, "Cool." We're in the middle of nowhere. It's early in the morning. There's nobody around.
And the parking lot's damn near empty.
Yeah.
And it was like,
yeah.
Cool.
I was like, cool. So Jas walks over to the sign and he starts taking a piss. And I turn around to go do something with my bike, and this pickup truck pulls in. And it acts like it's going to park in this parking spot that's like 2 spots over. There's a car in between us. And then he backs up and he like pulls, like kind of blocking us in-ish. And so at this point, I'm like, what the fuck, dude? You can clearly hear they're not quiet. You can hear our bikes. They're running. We're about to fucking get on them and back up. We're all geared up on the whole nine. And he rolls his window down and he's like, "Hey, that's not cool." And like, I just kind of like look at him and I look back at Jas, and Jas is done at this point. And he didn't even pee like on the pole. It was next to it on the ground. Like you didn't even see a wet mark on it.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, he's like, "I'm the maintenance manager here." And he's like, "That's not cool." And I was like, "Sorry?" And so
he's
Jas,
sitting there yelling at him, and he was like,
like, I didn't even pee on it.
People could see it, and da-da-da-da-da. And I just looked down and was like, "Won't happen again."
At that point, I was just like, I mean, he's not wrong. I just threw my leg over the bike. I'm like, "Okay, dude, it's time to get out of the fucking way."
Mm-hmm.
I forgot about that.
That's
funny.
Hilarious.
But yeah, and then we got home and that was it.
It was a hell of a ride.
Bikes were fucking disgusting because of that. I'll just road grime in general, but all the rain that we hit on the way back. And but yeah, no issues. Rode up on one bike, rode home on a different bike.
Hell yeah.
No complaints.
But really, it was, to me, it's what Memorial Day was all about. It was great camaraderie. It was, we've got some stories and a new bond and stuff that happened with the guys that we rode with, and I thoroughly looking forward to next year and doing it again. Wait. And
the cool part about it too is like we didn't go to the beach that it's just chaos. You know what I mean? We didn't try to host a barbecue or a pool party that takes all this effort and preparedness and then people pleasing and the whole nine. It was each of us individually in our own world on a bike with a lack of ability to communicate, just processing, and to put yourself in that position on a weekend like that, like it holds weight. You know what I mean? And that was my first experience of doing that around Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
And I don't know another way that I want to spend that weekend anymore.
Oh yeah.
It was,
you know what I mean?
That's awesome.
What was great about it is that you, like you said, you were very introspective during the day. And with the breaks, and we were chatting with each other and talking about what we saw on the road and all that kind of stuff. But when you're in that helmet and you're on that road, like it's just you. Like you've got to kind of, like you said, process and kind of deal with it. And around that weekend, you can't help but kind of think about it. But then in the evenings, having that crew that was there, and it wasn't that then we were discussing what we were thinking about all day. Then it turned into this very casual, just group of, enjoying each other's company and smoking cigars and talking about what we were smoking and all that kind of. So it was
one more thing to bring up while we were in Big Spring. Big Spring was eventful for as uneventful as it was. We're leaving the restaurant. Jas and I are about to walk next door to the gas station to get beer. And we're like, "Hey, boys, to Ken and Steve, I'm like, you guys need anything from the gas station? We're about to pick up a 6-pack, but if you want something, we'll get something else. Steve's like, no, I'm good. I'm just going to drink my iced tea. And Ken's like, no, I'm good. I got my whiskey. And both of us were like, what? Like,
this was the last night.
We're on night 5 of a 6-day trip, and you're just now telling us that you have whiskey?
He's like, well, it's just my flask. And I was like,
wait, why is this just now? He's like, well, I had it on the table the other nights. And both of us were just like, whoa.
That's hilarious.
Like, dickhead. Like, you're just now telling us.
But come to find out, it was like maple Crown Royal or something or another that we wouldn't have drank.
Yeah,
anyways,
it wasn't.
But still.
Yeah, but I appreciate the fact that.
But no, it was a hell of a ride. And like you said, I don't know of another way I'd want to spend that weekend now.
This is it.
And that was my first big.
That was the first time. Well, now most states it doesn't matter, but in Texas it matters. That was the first time that Jas took a motorcycle from his home and drove out of state.
Fair, yeah.
And we didn't hit a state line until we had 660 miles.
Yeah.
On the odometer from leaving San Antonio. That's when we hit the state line.
Damn.
Yeah. You can't, like, that's most other states that you crossed 3 states already.
Yeah.
And of course, with my first one, it had to be the first 450 miles in.
Yeah.
Just getting drenched.
I remember we got to the hotel at the end of the night and I was like, well, boys, the trip can only get better from here.
Yeah,
not much is going to make it worse.
Very true.
A lot. There was thankfully nothing other than Steve getting assaulted by part of a tire. There wasn't any.
Actually,
you got a little sideways.
I got sideways on the way up in the rain. I hydroplaned for a little while. That I immediately, as soon as that happened, my windshield was fogged up because it was in the rain.
Yeah,
and like it got me going.
Yeah,
and but yeah, and then the last day on the way back, I got bit by a tire.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
Yeah.
It bounced up off of something, and I didn't see it until all I could do is move my head. I couldn't swerve or anything. There was no time. But it bounced off the right side of my fairing and went behind me. And then by the time I could get my head back and look in the mirror, Ken was behind me, and I don't know. So when we got to the next stop, I'm like, hey, did that tire hit you? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, good.
Yeah.
And then I looked at my bike, and I had this massive black mark on the whole front of the fairing.
Because I walked up to him, and I asked you, I was like, did it tag you? Because you were rubbing on the bike. And he was like, yeah. Because it got kicked up, and it flew at me, and I literally dropped all the way behind my fairing, and it went over my bike.
Jeez.
Whap! But the good thing is all it took was a little bit of detail spray and a nice clean microfiber.
Yeah, because I forgot about it. And we were just fucking with the bikes yesterday.
Yep.
And I forgot about it. And had you not just brought it up right now, you never would have known that it ever tagged that bike.
That next day, so that day, obviously, we got home. And I was just like, I'm not even emptying a bag. I'm taking a shower, and I'm crawling into bed. That next day, I walked out the next morning, and I was like, there's a new bike in my garage.
Yeah.
So I opened the door, I turned the light on, and I was like, fuck. Because I just saw the black mark that's on it. So I immediately, and it came right off, thankfully. And there's only like one, unless you knew where it was and what it was, you can't tell. There's one little tiny, like, 1/8 of an inch mark from probably one of the, like, metal belts that was in the tire But I'm willing to bet I could probably buff that out too.
There's those new ones have a lot of clear coat on them. There's there's definitely some room for buffing. But yeah, it was a absolutely fantastic ride, and I'm glad we got to
I can't wait
tell
to
the
fucking
story.
do that again.
Yeah, do it again.
Or just even it made me remember that I actually really love long distance riding.
Yeah.
Like cruising around doing 50, 100 miles around town or something. Like that's fun. But
but the true touring stuff, the getting out there and truly turning it is.
I really like that.
Yeah,
it's way different.
I could definitely get hooked on that. Mm-hmm. That's
It
was pretty incredible, and obviously with the footage we'll get Justin, there'll be a little bit more for them to understand what we're talking about without just us saying like, yeah, we sat on a bike for 6 days. And
It was really
great.
fun.
Yeah. And it was incredible. Some fans of both podcasts and the brand actually appeared out in Colorado Springs, which is pretty wild.
Bradley Freeman and his wife made their trip to Colorado Springs that same weekend.
Happy belated birthday, by the way.
Yeah. Who else do we got to shout out? The Pikes Peak boys. We talked a lot about those guys. The two dudes from Pueblo, awesome guys.
That super cool chick we met in the slingshot.
Oh yeah.
We met this chick that was, I guess she was retired or something, and had bought herself a slingshot.
Like the little 2 wheels in the front and 1 wheel in the back.
Yeah.
The Polaris things.
The crazy part too, it's a Polaris vehicle with
Honda powered.
I thought it was a Chevy engine.
Oh no, that's right.
It was a Chevy V6.
It's got a Chevy V6. No, a Chevy 1.6.
Yeah, something.
And I was like, well, where can you get it serviced? And she was like, big service, you have to take it to Polaris. But I can literally pull it into a Chevy dealer and they can change the oil and shit in it. And I was like,
oh wow,
that's kind of cool.
But we were talking to her and her friend,
and they were going to some concert.
They were going to Red Rocks.
Yeah.
Oh
we
hell
like,
yeah.
Well, where are you coming from? And she was like, Oklahoma. And I was like, holy shit. And she was like, and then we're gonna leave there, and when we're done, I think we're gonna go out to California for a little bit, and then loop up, and then go out to Tennessee, and
she said, she's like, yeah, I got like 40,000 miles on this thing.
Hell yeah.
Like, fuck yeah.
That's awesome.
And,
super cool.
She got it. So we were asking her stuff like,
I was like, how windy is it in there? She's like, same as a bike. I'm like, oh, so you can't smoke a cigar.
Nah.
Except for the seats looked infinitely more comfortable.
Very much so.
And but it was cool. I'd never seen inside one.
No, I never saw one up close. I just see them going by as they're lit up like Tron.
Yep.
Yeah.
With huge stereo
the only
systems.
time
blasting
And I'm
music.
like, you're gay.
Yeah. Hers though was fucking bone stock, and her and her friend had their duffel bags like strapped to the back of the seat up on the rear deck,
like a rear bag on a motorcycle.
Like it was like, and she was in there and she was like, "How was that rain?" And I was like, "Probably about as good as yours was." And when you looked in there, they had like towels on the seats and shit. I was like,
and we saw them at the next like 2 or 3 gas stops.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
because they were riding the same like scenic highway we were. They
We
were
didn't
just going
see
to go
'em.
all the way out to Red Rock.
We didn't see them on the road. Like after that, they left before us. And so as we pulled into the gas station, they were pulling out. And then I think at the next one, we didn't stop at the same gas station, but I saw them in the same town we were in at our next stop. And as we were pulling out of town, they were turning down one of the main drags.
Oh hell yeah.
It was pretty cool.
And then
The Hangar 2 and 9 boys.
yep, we made some friends on the road that we never spoke to. Like we were just riding in formation, and they just like dropped in with us and rode with us for a while. Like
and that dude rode for, it was probably 150 miles he rode with us.
Like we picked up a couple of people along the way.
Yeah.
That was the other thing too, is that being on the bike for that long, and you could kind of tell the people that was not just like a day trip. And every time you'd run into the guys like us that had all their bags strapped to them and stuff like that, the instant camaraderie that would happen and all that kind of stuff. It was just it is amazing actually how accommodating places are when you're like obviously loaded for tour like that. Like every hotel was incredible. People would make room for us. Like it was and a lot of questions. We had that one chick that she was like, I'll just get on the back of yours. We'll just go to Colorado Springs the whole time. And I was like, that's not going to work.
When we stopped on day one, we stopped for lunch in the rain. There was a table of nurses that were just super intrigued by us and just asking 1,000 questions. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. So the whole thing was pretty incredible. And then, yeah, I would do it again. I definitely don't want to wait till Memorial Day to do it again.
No, I'd like to do another ride somewhere else between now and then.
Yeah.
But I think even if it's next year's Colorado again, but I'm game to, pick a different location and keep the same overall distance. I think that'd be super
It was kind of
fun.
perfect.
Yeah. It's just far enough, but not too far.
Yeah. But, and then he won't see it, but a huge shout out to Steve, our road captain, and that plan that you put together, because it was
seamless.
And it was staged so perfectly. All the hard riding was in the front, so by the end, when we were all tired, it was... Because I think the last day we were only in the saddle for like 3.5 hours or something like that, 4 hours to get home. So he timed it perfectly. You could definitely tell he's done it before. Where it was like... we know how fatigued everybody's going to be at the end, so the short days will be on the backside. So
Yeah. And one of the guys that was at Pikes Peak Harley, the dude that I got the bag from, that helped us out a lot. He has a small YouTube channel.
Ooh.
It's called Riding with Doug.
Hell yeah! Shout out, Red.
I just saw. I took a screenshot of it because I could remember to give him a shout out. Or it's Rocky Mountain Moto or Riding with Doug.
I think he changed it back to Riding with Doug because they tried to shut him down when he changed the name. So,
but good dude.
Go comment on Riding with Doug's newest video. Tell him the Warfighter and Freedom Friends say hi.
yeah.
So that was 6 days in a couple hours.
Fuck yeah, boys! That's awesome. Thanks for sitting down and sharing with us.
Yeah.
Thanks to the
fun.
Warfighter podcast for having me on. It's always a pleasure chatting with you.
Well, we didn't want to bore everybody else.
That was kind of the reason that we did this. So it's instead of the other two just sitting there going, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, like,
we figured we'd
cool.
separate this out,
right,
and make it easy.
Because we had some guys asking us how the trip went. If we can do a recap when we get back. So this is it, in depth. And if it's too much, then you made it this far.
Yeah.
True. Another shameless plug: 10th anniversary in San Andreas are in retailers right now.
They are.
So go hit up your local retailer. If you don't know where the closest one is, go to warfightertobacco.com. Check out the dealer locator. That is the easiest way to find one near you. And go try out the new sticks. They are
especially that San Andreas. The wrapper on that one.
So good.
It's also kind of a non-standard sourcing for that wrapper quality. So the intensity on that one is flavor intensity. It's not like body-wise going to fucking blow you away. But the flavor intensity on that wrapper really, really highlights how good that San Andreas.
Fucking delicious.
Right, it's so good.
yummy, yummy.
And 10th anniversary is amazing as well. We've gotten a lot of really good feedback on both of those blends since they've been out in the wild, and guys have gotten them from their local retailers. Eventually, we will have them on the site, just not yet. So go support your local retailer. Until then.
Highly recommend. Go grab a buddy. Go to the retailer. Enjoy a cigar with a friend.
Or do what we did and plan a motorcycle ride to a cigar shop.
That too.
Yep. Every good cigar is a great cigar if you're smoking it with somebody.
Bingo.
Cool. Well, Jazz, you got anything else you want to throw in on here?
No, man. I always love chatting with you. And
Awesome.
But that's about it. Now you talking about this whole thing just makes me want to go fucking
I want to go get on the bike again.
Yeah.
Justin, you got anything else we got to add in on here?
Nope. All the channels are linked in this video, so make sure you're subscribing to everybody. Also go check out battlepubgames.com for all your nerd fixes. They've got everything. Quite literally everything. So,
and if you're not a nerd and want to come see me and talk about cigars or motorcycles, I'm usually down to do all that.
That is true.
So it's
and he has a bar at
his bar
at his location.
Yes,
I do.
Yeah. Also, they I feel like just to highlight it, Battle Pub puts on some dope ass events. So if you're in the San Antonio area, make sure you're following them. Go check out the events that they put on. They're always a good time.
Even if you're not playing in the tournament,
just being there is
the spectacle's usually
just go get
cool
a couple beers,
absolutely,
and enjoy the environment.
Might find yourself a new hobby,
right?
Yeah.
Oh, I'll get you hooked on something.
There we go.
That's why I haven't been in there during your events, because I don't need another hobby. I have enough.
It's a nice affordable one too.
Oh, that's the thing. Like, I know enough of our friend group participates that I know that it's a slippery slope. I'm going to get sucked in the second I give like a 2% interest into this.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I'm going to be like, fuck, here we go.
See, that's how good of a friend I am, is I haven't tried to.
Because you're just like, it's just a matter of time. And one of these days, it's just going to be like, well, fuck. Okay.
That's what
John's in.
That's what John needs. Another
At
hobby.
some point, you'll come to a cookout or something at the house, and all of my gamer friends will be there, and there'll be a game going on, and you're going to be like.
Thankfully, that's like, I've been there with all the gamer friends. And
it hasn't happened
dudes,
yet.
and it's fun, and I hang out, but they've never been in the middle of a game or starting it. You know what I mean? And I feel like if that,
because we all know how to do it. Because it starts with a question, and then we're like, tell you what, grab those dice
here,
and
just sit right here. We'll just
and you can kind of
fuck.
Yeah,
first hit's always free.
Yep.
Well, and it's just like everything else I do. Halfway through that game. Okay, well, I got that ordered.
Yeah.
Okay, I got this on the way. That'll be here in 4 days.
All right, so what do I need for what's right here? Luckily, you don't even have to order it.
No, I
You
don't.
Just go to my store and I'll take care of you day of.
God damn it.
Instant gratification.
Bingo.
I know. So I said that's why I haven't been there for years.
Any man's man. It was a great ride. I could have asked for a better dude to do it with. So
well, we're gonna have to plan some more and do some more. Well, hell, if we get enough interest, we might try to plan one and invite everybody.
Ooh,
So we'll see.
little convoy ride.
That'd be really fun. Except it's gonna start here in San Antonio, so you got to find your own way here.
Yep. Or if it gets big enough and you don't want to ride but want to do the trip, I'm sure none of us would turn down a follow car.
Yeah, that's true.
If I don't have to ride with the bag on,
Yeah, that'd be nice. Wouldn't that lose up 80, 100 pounds of gear? Yeah. Cool. Well, all that being said, warfightertobacco.com for all your smoky treat needs. Battlepubgames.com for
nope, just Battle Pub.
battlepub.com for all your gaming needs. I think that's it. We got nothing else.
Yeah.
Pikes Peak Harley if you want to buy a motorcycle.
Bingo.
Highly recommended.
I'm telling you.
Call Doug. He'll take care of you.
Yeah. But yeah, so till next week, we'll talk to you guys later.